Mic off na.
No. I'm fine, thank you. No, we didn't email it, the speaker's office. That is Wat gaan Annie nog?
Councillors, can we please make sure that your microphones are off? We can hear people talking in the background, and we are going live. Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome the Executive Mayor, the Deputy Mayor, Chief Whip, all the aldermen, the administration, and all the councillors, as well as the public. I presume I am audible. I can hear myself in the background. Welcome to 2025. This is our first meeting for the year, and you'll notice that a few things will change throughout this year. And the first change that I'm going to make this year is that I've actually asked Pastor Paul van Coller van Hope Church to open the meeting for us. Pastor, if you'd like to open the meeting for us, please. Pastor Paul, are you there?
There we go. That's better. Sorry about that. Great. Nice to meet you. Thank you so much for the invite.
You may go ahead, Pastor.
Thank you. Well, exciting start to the year. I'm sure we're all excited about the year and the opportunities to make a difference. And before we start, just want to thank everybody for all their hard work. As a recipient of your hard work, we really appreciate it. I really appreciate that we get to live in such an amazing city that is so well run. And so we're very, very grateful. I'm going to start off by just talking a little bit of a story out of the book of Esther. As a church, we've just been working through the book of Esther. And the book of Esther is found in the Old Testament, where the Jews had been were in captivity, and there was a man that was part of the kingdom of Persia that was under the king called Xerxes, that had determined to wipe all the Jews out. And so that was on a certain day, on the 7th of March, all the Jews were going to be killed. And Esther was a queen, even though she had hid the fact that she was Jewish, she was the queen. And her uncle Mordecai let her know that what was going to happen. And obviously she was very nervous to approach the king, because if she approached the king without being invited into the king's presence, she could be killed according to the law. But yet they went into a time of prayer and fasting as a Jewish nation, even though they were in Persia. And then after prayer and fasting, Mordecai sends her this message, and it's found in the book of Esther, chapter 4, reading from verse 13. And I just thought it'd be appropriate for all of us just to think about this. And he said, Esther chapter 4, reading from verse 13, he says, Mordecai sent Esther this message. Don't think that just because you live in the king's house, you are the one Jew who will get out of this alive. If you persist in staying silent at a time like this, help and deliverance for the Jews will come from someplace else, but you and your family will be wiped out. Who knows? Maybe you were made queen for just a time as this. What's a great thought? Maybe all of us that are on this meeting were placed in the position that we're in for just such a time as this. You know, God doesn't make mistakes. He is actively at work behind the scenes. Somebody once told me that coincidence is when God does miracles and decides to remain anonymous. So I just want to encourage everybody. There's lots of challenges in our country. There's lots of challenges in our world. We're going through a very interesting time. Lots of challenges in our city. Lots of people are hurting and are afraid. Lots of people are struggling. But we do believe that we have an opportunity to make a difference. And so I'd love to pray for you as you go into your meetings, as you go into this year, that by God's grace, you would look to him for strength, that you would go into, that you'd realize the opportunity that God has given you to make a big difference, and you wouldn't lose that opportunity, that you wouldn't miss that opportunity, but that you'd stand up and be counted, be on the side of truth, and be on the side of doing what's right, and be on the side of doing what is making a difference. And so if it's okay with you, I'm just going to pray. And then, thank you once again for this opportunity. Let's pray. Lord Jesus, we just want to thank you that you love us, God, that you have great plans for every single one of us, that every single person in George, you know them by name, you care about them, and that you're always concerned about them, Lord. And I pray that you would help every single person that's on this call, Lord, just to realize the incredible opportunity that they have to make a difference, and that they're placed in this position they've got influence, they're able to make decisions, to make a difference for such a time as this. We are in such an incredible opportunity, such an incredible time where we can shine a light, where we can make a difference, that we can stand up and be counted and do what is right and live a life that honors you. We just commit the rest of the meeting into your hands, pray for wisdom and direction. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
Thank you very much, Pastor. And that's a great way to start off the new year. And with that, councillors, I'd also like to, at this point of the meeting, just announce that I've taken a good look at things that have happened in the past, and I'm going to bring in I'd like to ask that we have a relook at the rules, especially regarding the confidential items. I've realized myself that there are problems in opening the links, and I've spoken to the mayor, and we are going to relook at having one agenda for everything in the future. And I'm going to call a special council meeting in January so that we can relook at that and just change that, because it is on the rules of order. In February. We're already in February. I can't believe it. So in February, we're going to have a special council meeting to address that one rule, that we make the confidential items part of the one agenda. And I just want to take note of that now. And having said that, I'd like to ask the mayor, who has an address, to please go ahead with the mayoral address.
Good. Alderman, Deputy Mayor, Whip of Council, councillors, acting municipal manager, directors, officials, members of the public, the media, and to our residents tuned in on our YouTube channel. As this is the first council meeting of the year, I would like to start off by wishing every councillor, every viewer, every resident a blessed 2025. May the year ahead be a successful and a prosperous one. We have just concluded a tremendously busy and successful festive season, and the work done by our departments in keeping our services fully functional should be commended. My team and I visited some of our beaches over the big days, and I had the opportunity to witness the work being carried out by our seasonal workers, given the influx of visitors and beachgoers. I'm extremely happy to report the positive feedback received and to note that our beaches were safe and clean, marking an extremely successful period. Now, I do know that the festive season might not have been a pleasant experience for all our residents. As your executive mayor, I have received numerous complaints from our indigenous population regarding one of our service providers. For this, I want to start off by apologizing to our residents for any inconvenience that they may have experienced. I want to assure you that I have heard you and that we are actively putting mechanisms in place to improve the assistance that we give to our indigenous households. We will reach out to our communities regarding what we have planned in due course. As a municipality, we are heading into a very exciting time of year where we will be relooking at our budget and our budget policies. We are allowed to do this at least once a year. So it is with this knowledge that I received over the last 6 months in my tenure as executive mayor that I have decided to relook and revisit some of our very important policies. I have decided that we will relook and revisit our indigenous policy, as we know that in the previous financial year, there were some hiccups experienced by our residents. It is my personal mission to ensure that this policy is tailored to the needs of our residents and that their right to basic services is not harmed or impeded in any way. So we ask that our residents be patient with us and know that we are currently working on ensuring that our policies meet the needs of all that we govern. Furthermore, in my last address, I made mention to the fact that the electrification of informal settlements is one of our most pressing issues, and that we are actively working towards ensuring that we remedy the situation for all our residents living in these informal settlements. I'm extremely happy to announce that so far we have delivered on this sentiment by electrifying homes in the Moegeploeg informal settlements in Pakkelsdorp. With that, I would like to thank our Department of Electrotechnical Services and the work they have done in this space. Specialized Solar Solutions as the service provider, and then to Councillor Donovan Gultig, the MMC for Electrotechnical Services, and Councillor Kleinhans, the Ward Councillor, for overseeing that this life-changing project was executed. Speaker, I would like to give a quick rundown of our departments during the months of December, January. I will be as brief as possible. In our community services, I'm pleased to announce that the much anticipated Rosemore Tartan tract had reached 85% completion, and that the anticipated date for the entire completion is reported to be the end of February this year. This is an exciting infrastructure injection into our community. We have also completed the first phase of our legal dumping strategy, which has seen the appointment of 12 coordinators and 310 EPWP workers. By now, our residents should have seen the result of the project across all our wards. We are ensuring that George Municipality is clean and remains that way. When February month has been identified as the month where cleaning interventions will take place in conjunction with our law enforcement component. I would like to thank our department for the excellent work within the community services space. None of this could be achieved without good leadership. I want to thank our director, our senior managers and staff. I would also like to thank our councillors, Councillor Adam, Kleinhans and Roelfse, for overseeing the operation of this department. In planning and development, since the start of the financial year, our planning department has already processed 135 new applications, which surpasses the submission for last year, which stood at 109. Since the start of the financial year up to the end of December 2024, the Building Control Office has approved a whopping 1,498 construction projects to the estimate value of over 1.2 billion. Over this period, over 1,000 building inspections were concluded compared to just above 1,000 in the previous financial year. We simply cannot deny the fact that George Municipality is growing and the demand for services cannot be achieved and harnessed without the commitment of our dedicated staff and our officials. In terms of spatial planning, this unit is making great strides in the implementation of our neighbourhood development and regeneration of Thembalethu through the Izulu Yethu project. We are currently upgrading Nelson Mandela Boulevard, construction a new recreational route from which the upgrade of the fence around the sport field and the induction of a new gym equipment has already been finalized. In the year ahead, new sidewalks will be constructed to facilitate a run route with associated lighting and street furniture. This unit has also concluded the land use and environment authorization for our social housing. Our social housing site situated at the former Crocodile Farm site and a development proposal will soon be invited. The project will yield approximately 500 opportunities for affordable rental through the social housing grant. Furthermore, the proposal for the upgrade of the St. Mark's Squares have been finalized and the department will be engaging with the technical departments about the implementation. Our environmental unit with the spatial planning section has concluded the draft river maintenance management plans for the Gwaun, Melen and Skop ravine system. The demand for housing opportunities keeps growing, and during the last quarter, the Human Settlement Department registered 352 new applications on the housing wait list, which resulted in a total number of over 20,000 people, which is currently on our waiting list. This just shows the need for housing opportunities in George. A total of 354 subsidy applications have been approved in the Metro Housing Project, with the total number of approved top structures standing at 652 opportunities, of which 106 has been handed over to approved beneficiaries. The UISP program is ongoing with 4,350 service sites in Thembele to having received approval from provincial government. To date, 2,124 service sites has been handed over to beneficiaries. The department will also remedy to embark on construction of 100 top structures for beneficiaries residing in informal settlements. This is phase 1 of the project that will yield a total of 300 top structures over the next 2 years. The property management unit transfers in the past term. A total of 360 title deeds were handed over since the start of the financial year, of which 100 of these title deeds were delivered to beneficiaries in December, making people homeowners. A further 7 were delivered in January to date. The municipality program to empower entrepreneurs by teaching them how to manage their business, finance, develop new business strategies, and expand their businesses by accessing new markets. Additional business owners are taught good financial business habits that can help them achieve financial success. To date, 26 entrepreneurs participated and 18 of them advanced to phase 2. Furthermore, the first phase of the Pockelsdorp Micro Enterprise Facility was completed, and it is envisioned that the second phase will be rolled out in the new financial year. Thank you to our Acting Director, Delia Power, her senior management and staff for the great work undertaken. Also, thank you to Councillor Schaffers and Councillor Barnard for the role that they play within these respective departments. Our Financial Services Department is hard at work preparing for our budget period. And as the Executive and the Mayoral Committee, we have been meeting with them to ensure that our budgets are aligned and suited to the needs of our residents. In closing, I would like to thank our staff for their hard work and dedication under the excellent leadership of our Acting Municipal Manager, Mr. Godfrey Lowe. To our councillors, the Executive and Mayoral Committee, we have a new year ahead of us. May we use this opportunity for the betterment of our residents. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Executive Mayor. We'll go directly over to the rebuttal, and we'll start off with the ANC. You have 3 minutes, please.
Morning, Speaker. Morning, fellow councillors. Good morning. Happy New Year to all the councillors. Morning also the Mayor, Jackie von Brandes. We as the ANC, first of all, we want to thank you for showing your leadership, because we can see that you are trying, but you need someone for the opposition who can assist to work with you, because your leadership of DA, it seems that they don't want to support you. But Mayor, we are not happy for your empty promises that you promised us. You remember last year, you promised us each and every ward there will be a buggy and the people that will work there for each and every ward. But I feel now you're talking about one bug or few buggies, but the first time when we engage you to say that each and every ward there will be buggy and the workers for EPWP. These are empty promises, but maybe your DA, they change you. They say now you can't do like that. That's why I say we must get someone for the opposition so we can assist you. Last year, our people, early this January, there was a big rain of storms. Our people were struggling to get the Camplus now because these policies of George Municipality, the people, they can't get our Camplus, the Campluses, but now this because of these policies. How can you get the, if you're waiting for the Camplus, you must fill everything, the documents, ID copy and everything. You're supposed to provide the Camplus each and every time. Like now also in January and December, you block the electricity and the people, they were struggling to get the electricity and the municipality office were closed. And how can you block the electricity in December? You think that the people The people, they were sitting in the dark places because now they can't SMS now, they can't do nothing because you block everything. But I think now you must not block the electricity for our people in December month. I've here also talk about the electrification of the informal settlement. That project of electrification of the informal settlement, it's so slow, it takes long time. It seems that you'll finish the electrification after 20 years or maybe in 2040. I think now if you can change a company or have two companies that are dealing with this electrification. Also, you're talking about the metro houses. We as ANC, we can see that that project of the handing over of the houses in metro houses, this is a project of the ANC. When you go there to those houses, handing over the houses, our people, you don't go, not even taking one of opposition party. You go alone as a DA. You just you want to show your people that we can work hard. Also, the last part. What about those people who've got a title deed that are residing in the informal settlement? Why you don't build the houses for them? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor. The next party to speak on this item is the Freedom Front Plus. You have 3 minutes.
Dankie Speaker, deur u na die burgemeester. Eerstens ons komplimente gaan uit na al ons seisoenwerkers en almal wat betrokke was van die administrasie en ook raadslede oor die feesgety. Dit was 'n groot sukses geweest. Ons het net komplimente gekry. Die beleidsdokumente, ja, is 'n werkende dokument en moet van tyd tot tyd hersien word ten einde aan te pas by omstandighede. Dan u het gesê die ongerief wat huishoudings ervaar het. Ek sal sê u kan gerus in Meyerstraat kom afry. Ons sypaadjies is 3 keer in 2 maande omgedolwe, net om weer toe te maak want die verkeerde parte was bestel, al dus die werkers daar. Nou is dit weer omgedolwe. Dis nou al 2 weke. Hulle het net gate gegrawe. Alles staan so, dit lyk soos ja, ek weet nie wat nie. En daar gebeur niks. Daar's niemand wat daar werk nie. Nou weet ek nie of hulle nou vir parte wag en hoe lank dit gaan wees nie. Daar kan gerus beter beplan word. Dan ons is bly dat Moegoploeg se elektrisiteitsprobleem wat ons al reeds sedert 2017 oor gestoei het, uiteindelik aangespreek was. Ek kan nie net vertel dat daar nog steeds meer as 10 huisgesinne op 1 toilet moet deel en ons vertrou dit sal ook aandag geniet. Dan verder burgemeester die Krokodilplaas projekte, ja, ek het 2016 in die raad ingestap, toe was daar al reeds beplanning vir ontwikkeling. Ons is amper 10 jaar verder aan en ons sien nog niks daar nie. Ons hoop dat u dan nou met u verwagtinge iets daar gaan regkry. Dan behuising is 'n werklikheid, burgemeester, en alhoewel en ons gee erkenning daarvoor en ons is dankbaar dat die armste van die armes gehelp word en dit is nodig, ons agterplaasmense en die behoeftiges. Maar daar is ander mense ook in George wat ook 'n behoefte het, jou middelklas en jou meer ryker klas of meer bekostigbaar klas wat hiernatoe wil emigreer. Hier is eenvoudig nie meer leë erwe om te koop om jou eie huis te bou. Dis net gated fence developments wat nie almal wil graag in gaan bly in daai hokkies nie. So asseblief, ons moet kyk na daai ander groepering se behoeftes ook. Dan ten opsigte van elektrisiteit, burgemeester, u kan gaan kyk. Dit lyk my daar's 'n tendens dat elektrisiteit net op 'n Vrydag aand afgesny word. En dan is daar geen hulp vir wie ook al sy elektrisiteit afgesny word nie, dan om te wag tot die maandag toe. Dit wil my nie voorkom asof daar op 'n Dinsdag of 'n Woensdag of 'n Donderdag krag afgesny word nie. Dis ondeugdelik en sal moet na gekyk word. Ek dank u.
Thank you. Can we have a translation for that, please?
Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Speaker.
Good morning to all
Mayor,
councillors.
thank you.
Sorry, councillors.
The alderman started by saying compliments to everyone, and thank you so much to the people who are working during the festive season. We have received nothing but compliments coming from people with regards to this festive season. Now, when it comes to the policy documents is a document that needs to be revised or reviewed now and then, especially when there are circumstances that do change. So we need to check at those people or at those changes so that is is why it is important to always review and revise the policy documents. When it comes, there's a problem with regards to paving that he mentioned that they tried to fix it, but they left it like that, so it does not know what is going on. Maybe they are waiting for material or whatever is going on, but the place has been left like that, so that is becoming now worrying and a problem as well. With regards to the Mogeploeg, I'm glad that the problem or that issue has been addressed, because this has been coming on since 2017, and where you find cases of 10 members of a family sharing one toilet. So I am glad to hear that is being addressed. When it comes to housing is an ongoing project, and we are glad to hear that these projects that are being finalized and people are getting houses as well. But we also need to look at the middle class and the working class people, because you find out there are no Fs to buy because of the development. That is actually also good, but there's also another group of people that you actually need to look at. When it comes to electricity, we have to look at this problem of the blockaging of, or the blocking of electricity, especially on a Friday, blocking during weekend, and you know that it has people are having a problem with it. We have addressed this issue that let electricity be blocked from Monday to Thursday, but not on Friday, especially when it is going to be a weekend, and then there's a problem with that regard. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Paulus. The next to speak on this item is the PBI. You have 3 minutes. Now you may go ahead, Councillor.
Thank you, Speaker. Mayor, thank you for your sugarcoat speech. Mayor, Go George, the bus stops are currently undergoing renovations. However, our people are often exposed to stormy weather while waiting for the transportation. You need to look at that. Mayor, each year our communities faces challenges such as fires and floods. It is essential that we take proactive measures to prevent these disasters. Mayor, do you believe that addressing this issue is important for the George community as a whole? Does this not concern you? Then there is a growing concern regarding the lack of adequate provision for middle-class citizens, including teachers, police officers, municipal workers, etc., particularly in relation to housing and land access. Currently, land is being sold to the highest bidder, making it difficult for the middle class to compete effectively. Mayor, it is imperative that suitable land be allocated for the residents of George. Rather than prioritize external interest, many families currently rent properties, often living in flats. Young individuals are leaving George in search of better opportunities due to high cost of living and limited prospects. There is an urgent need to address these issues. Middle-class citizens need land to become homeowners. Mayor, what is the current status of the process regarding the vandalized houses in Packersdorp? Mayor, regarding the recent collapsed building in Victoria Street, have you conducted your investigation? Have you communicated with the public to reassure our community that such a disaster will not happen again? Mayor, as the PBI, we recognize your presence across various sectors. However, it's important to note that direct involvement is also essential. This is not about achieving recognition or accolades, but rather about fulfilling responsibilities and being held accountable for our actions. Mayor, the PBI has observed limited progress during your first 100 days in office. We recognize that the desire for power can often overshadow the needs and the experience of those who have faced challenges throughout their lives. As the PBI, we urge you to fulfill your commitments or consider stepping down from your position, as our communities deserve genuine improvement rather than superficial changes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor. The next person, party to speak on this item is the Good Party. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, whilst we acknowledge and commend the achievements and strides being made, we would like to emphasize the following pressing issues. We note and welcome the comments of the Mayor on the indigent policy. The Good Party has raised this issue and we were called liars in the media. Over this past festive season, hundreds and thousands of residents had to endure discomfort and were robbed of a joyous festive period due to electricity meters being disconnected. These affected residents of George Municipality who believes they qualify for indigent relief have every right to be angry at us as they are pinning their hopes on the elected public representatives to provide them with basic services. Their anger with us is justified, and as a municipality, we have failed our residents when we don't communicate our policies clearly to those in need. As Good, we have condemned these cruel actions and once again call on this municipality to prioritize the review of our indigent policy to be aligned to the social realities facing our people, tackling and taking into consideration the high cost of living and updating of the indigent register. This is a matter that must be attended to with urgency, where the urgency it deserves, and in doing so, it is not a matter of charity, but of justice. It's an act of restoring the dignity of our people. It is crucially important that people who can afford to pay for services do so, because we must improve on our revenue collection to sustain the provision of these basic services. Those who have the means to pay must pay for services. As Good, we will review and propose changes to the Council's current indigent relief policy ahead of the 25-26 budget. We must emphasize that going forward, it cannot be business as usual. All of us, including the administrative staff of this municipality, must introspect and genuinely ask ourselves if we are doing enough, both individually and collectively, to provide services to our people that they truly deserve. Top on our priority list regarding all our projects should be to ensure that going forward we prevent conditions that make us to forfeit conditional grants back to National Treasury. National Treasury concluded that an amount of 2.8 billion was unspent and should be repaid to the NRF, which includes an infrastructure development grant of 1.2 million and EPWP program of 932,000. This is unacceptable as young people who are supposed to be the most economically active in our population are unfortunately bearing the brunt of joblessness. Speaker, the Good Party submitted comments on the emergency housing policy and has called for a national...
Your time is up. Thank you. We will move on to the next person, or the next party, and that will be the EFF. You have 3 minutes, please. Please stay within your time.
Enkosi Speaker, ngiyabakala. Enkosi Speaker, mandibulise kwi-meeting yokuqala xa siqala unyaka. Mandikubulise Meya nesigqeba sakho. Ndithathe eli thuba lokuba ubenze isithembiso sokuba abantu bethu abaki-informal settlement uzoba considerisha uba ubaqoqoshela isidima sabo, uzama ubabuyisela. Kodwa ke ngendlela into ezenzeka ngayo ngoku akubonakali sisondela kweso sithembiso, kodwa kubonakala siyasibhekela ngakuso. Kuba kaloku ekugqibeleni abantu bakuthi indlela baphatheke ngayo ibuhlungu if ingathi bona are not part and parcel citizens lapha eGeorge. So ke eyona nto yokuqala endizayikhalazela wena Meya nesigqeba sakho into yokuba kwecala eGamplaas sibuhlungu laa department ivisa kabuhlungu kuba ekugqibeleni zininzi izigqeba zemali ezijikayo kuthiwa zisebenzanga. Kodwa funeka icala leGamplaas sonke iGamplaas ingekho abantu bakuthi. And ibuhlungu into yoba sibabuke abantu bakuthi umasipala namalungu akhe lile ndithi umasipala uyafuneka into baqoqisise. Ngoba ezi Gamplaas ziyathengiswa elokishini masicethethe loo nto si-leadership ekhoyo ebona into zenzeka. Ithengiswa si-officials zakamasipala iGamplaas to our poor of the poorest people. Esi support basifumana freely othi masipala as i-service delivery yabo. So ibuhlungu loo nto. And okwesibini wena meya nesigqeba sakho, into enizenzayo yekani uba ufuna uququzela into yoba xa ubona ingathi kukho ii-hawks, we know ukuthi ziziphathi zininzi, but ibalulekile into yoba xa uphethe, phatha wenza izinto ngokokulandelana kwazo and ngokokulungelana kwazo. Suthi xa ubona into yoba ngoku uza amehlo kuwe bekhona ududuzelayo wenza izinto ngendlela engeyiyo because uzawubhuda. And yona niyasibhudisa nathi ekugqibeni because abantu bethu niyabona nibenza ibhobhayi phambi kwethu. And number two, ndize kule nto yombane, ibuhlungu into yombane because ewe niyibekile imigaqo-siseko yombane, but into ebuhlungu le mba ngoba isandovezwa yikholigi yam ye-opposition yoba ninento ucima ngolwehlanu umbane. Abantu bakuthi bangabi nayo ke ngento yoba bazawuthini option B, because one of my neighbors ihlale ne-weekend okungenambane. Kwafuneka nanenze alternatives as a leadership esekuhlaleni uba ndikhuphe ii-gas stoves zam because he's one of the poorest abantu abasafarishayo. Ibuhlungu ke loo nto because kaloku sithi sinaso ngumasipala, but ke uthi nana asinazimpendulo zabantu uba ndithini xa kunje because ekugqibeleni xa umntu ephose inyanga enye loku umasipala benokwazi into yoba angade awuvale ngolwehlanu awuvale kwangolwesithathu uba lo mntu akwazi utabalaza because kaloku after hours nibavalile. So ndiyacela into yoba information esisithi kuni uba xa nenza i-engagement zosi-information ekani uyithatha nisebaphepheni okanye nakwi-YouTube abantu bethu abanadata. Yiyani ebantwini noba nenze i-loud hailing nixela into yoba ithi umasipala ngobhoze ekugqibeleni into asikwazi ufikelela abantu but into niyazenza into yoba abantu bethu baphilise kabuhlungu. Nilindele uba thina asikwazi into yoba sibe ngumlomo okanye sibe bubuso obujonge kakubi ekuhlaleni. Ninani ngumasipala we-DA nisoloko nishayina kuba kaloku ekugqibeleni nizane na senizohlangula imeko kodwa eqalweni. Enkosi.
Thank you, Mr. Paulus. Would you please do a translation? I hope you got all of that.
Thank you, Speaker. The councillor started by greeting and thank you, Mayor, very much, you and your committee. Thank you very much for delivering such a promising speech. But I want to start by saying, Mayor, you made a promise. You made a promise to our people that you will, especially in the informal settlement, that you will bring back the dignity of our people by meeting their needs. But up to so far, you have not fulfilled the promises that you have made, of which it is very much hurtful to our people to see the way they are being treated because of their social standards. Now, it hurts us very much. Now, with regards to the gun places, it's becoming a problem to our people because we understand that there are policies that are set and put in place. But to be honest, I want to say the truth that gun places are being sold there at the location, and they are being sold by the officials of this George municipality, of which those are the services that our indigenous people were supposed to benefit from. But now our people find themselves in desperate situation that they have to now pay for these gun places because now they need them. Now, with regards to the electricity, as my colleague has alluded, that it's becoming a problem to us because why is this electricity supposed to be blocked on a Friday and then our people sit in the dark? I was faced with a situation where my neighbor was electricity was blocked, where I had to come with solutions of taking out my gas stove and helping them because I am a leader in the community. And when they suffer this problem, these problems actually affect us as leaders as well. Then we don't know what to answer and what to do because of this DA-led municipality. And what I want to say, when there are changes and when there are things happening, please don't do it on YouTube and papers and social media, because some of our people, they do not go to these platforms, don't have access to these platforms. If you are bringing changes and bringing things to the people, go directly to the people and address our people. And what I want to say that as the mayor, you will not you're supposed to not take sides. You're supposed to be a mayor for everyone, leader for everyone, so that everyone can feel that you are their leader. Now, when you find yourselves in this problem, now the DA comes to the rescue. Now it looks as if now you are rescuing our people, of which you created the problem in the first place. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next to speak on the item is the PA. You have 3 minutes.
Goeiemôre alle councillors, goeiemôre Meyer. Ja, ek wil julle almal dit baie mooi 2025 toewens. Alles wat mooi is vir u vir die jaar, speaker. Ja, eerstens dankie vir u speech, Meyer. Ek het ook 'n verskriklike probleem as finance committee member van die PA. Dat ons word gevra in die komiteevergaderings om die inwoners in te bring en dan moet hulle reëlings kom tref om hulle lopende rekeninge te betaal sowel as om hulle agterstallige rekeninge te betaal. So wat ons wel doen as die PA council is. Maar wat gebeur is ons mense daar binnekom, dan word daar gesê hulle moet 2-3 rande betaal of 4 rande betaal voor hulle krag oopgemaak raak. Nou ek het 'n verskriklike probleem met dit, want dit is nie wat ons in die finance komitee discuss nie. In die finance komitee was daar gesê deur die CFO dat as ons gaan die 10% wat daar is, gaan ons relax, want ons wil die mense net dat inkom, hulle moet reëlings kom maak vir wat hulle moet betaal. Maar dit is vir my baie duidelik dat die kommunikasie van die finance komitee nooit onder uitkom by die finance department nie. So wat nou gebeur is, op die einde van die dag, kom onze mense daar, dan moet daar gesê, betaal 'n paar duisend rand wat verkeerd is. Dis die eerste ding. So ons sal moet kyk aan dit. Dit wat ons in die komitee discuss, moet ons implementeer onder op die vloer wanneer onze mense inkom om gehelp te word. En dan die kragblokke. Mense, ons kan nie krag so blokkie. Die ander ding is die deernis. Baie inwoners het aansoek gedoen vir deernis einde van hierdie jaar, November maand, het hulle aansoek gedoen vir deernis. Die feit dat hulle deernis nooit geproses is of geprosesseer is nie, hulle aansoeke nie, dis nie hulle fout nie, maar ons blok nog steeds ons mense se krag. Dit is ons munisipaliteit se fout, want hoekom word hy mense se aansoeke nie geprosesseer nie? Nou sit hulle met geblokte krag. Ons sit met 'n probleem in terme van dienslewering. Die rede hoekom ons sukkel met dienslewering is omdat ons te veel kontrakteurs wat ons aanstel, maar ons het die werkers, elektrisiteit byvoorbeeld. As jy kyk, ons sit basies met 14, 15 ouens wat straatligte moet doen, waar ons suppose is om 43 mense te hê wat straatligte doen. In terme van die Gamplas, so as gevolg van die kontrakteurs wat ons aanstel, stel ons die mense aan in plaas van mense aanstel wat die werk kan doen. En dan kom dit by die Gamplas. In die laaste 8 jaar of 10 jaar is daar basies 8 mense gehelp oor die ouderdom van 60. En die nuwe beleid wat nog deurgedruk wil word, is 'n ding van mense onder 60 gaan nie meer gehelp word met Gamplas nie, en die PA stem nie saam daarmee nie. Ons voel dat almal wat Gamplas benodig, moet Gamplas kry. Baie dankie.
Mr. Pallas, can I have a translation, please?
Baie dankie, Speaker. Sorry. Thank you, Speaker. Councillor started by wishing everyone a blessed and a good 2025. Firstly, let me say thank you very much for the speech, Mayor. But what I have a problem with as a PA councillor who serves in the finance committee, we have a problem. First of all, in the finance committee meeting, we are being told that we should bring our people in so that our people can come to the finance department and make arrangements for the paying off of their debt, but that is not actually what is happening, because when our people come to the finance, they are being told to pay 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, of which those are not the agreements, or those are not the decisions that are taken in the finance communication, in the finance meeting. So it means that there's a communication problem when it comes to finance committee decisions. It seems like it does not reach the finance department or the officials of the finance, because our people are being told to turn back and pay this huge amount, of which we were told directly by the CFO that at least 10% of the said amount should be paid and then further arrangements to be made. But those does not happen, or those recommendations do not take place. The other thing that the other problem that we have, or that we encounter, is the blocking of the electricity, of which we find it unnecessary for the electricity to be blocked, especially during weekends. Now, when it comes to the indigent applications, our people do come. Some of our people came last year already to make the applications for the indigent, but the processing of the municipality takes time, of which that is not the concern or the problem of the people out there, because because our people do come and make applications, but the processing takes time. And then during that process, the electricity is being blocked. Now that becomes a problem to us because people should not suffer because of the processing of the indigent applications. Now, when it comes to electricity and the service, the problem is the service providers. There's too much contractors that are being appointed, of which that results to the problem that we are actually facing currently. When it comes to gun places, there's a problem with the policy because it says that people over the age of 60 or below the age of 60 are not supposed to get, or they not get, of which that if we greatly disagree with that. People who need gun places should be getting gun places, doesn't matter who they are or the age, because that is a problem that we are currently sitting with, and we have a problem with it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The last to speak on this on the mayor's address will be the coalition. You may go ahead. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Speaker. Good morning, all. Speaker, to start with the ANC this morning regarding the EPWP workers, we are delivering on our promises, Speaker. We have employed 310 EPWP workers to deal with the cleaning of our town. And as this is a pilot project, we are constrained within our budget, but we do deliver, Speaker. The mayor has addressed this. We are re-looking at our policies. After the people have spoken, the mayor has listened to their outcry and taken action, Speaker. We thank our Western Cape Minister Tertius Summers for the great work he is doing in his infrastructure portfolio to ensure that the Western Cape governments look at its municipalities and get their homes and that the funds are not stolen. We thank really our DA governance for clean governance. Now, the residents of Mugeploeg have been heard, Speaker. The residents of Muge here have already electricity. We are delivering on our local government mandate. To our councillors, talking about middle class, along with our provinces, we are facilitate the flips. Grant opportunities for middle class to upper middle class individuals. The mayor has already started that we will relook at the indigent policy. In fact, the mayor said that we will be able and look at all policies to be in line with the needs of our people. Thank you, Councillor Chantal Kit, for your supporting the mayor's idea. That is really a good working together. Now, the Gun Plus policy, we will have a rework, and we will ask that the councillors please bring their concerns so that we can make the policy the best possible policy for our residents. Yes, thank you, my Speaker. That is all from my side. Thanks.
Thank you very much. That ends the mayoral address. Before we continue, also I'd like to then start with a roll call. If the corporate services can go ahead with the roll call, please.
Good morning, Speaker. Morning, everybody. I'll start with Councillor Adams.
Councillor Adams has indicated that he cannot use his microphone. He's typing.
Thank you, Speaker. Councillor America.
Good morning, President.
Councillor Barnard.
Good morning, President.
Councillor Brown.
Good morning, President.
Councillor Busak.
I'm present. President Razornari.
Councillor Carolus.
Good morning, President.
Councillor Clark. Councillor Kuris.
Good morning, present.
Councillor
Sorry,
Cronje.
Rosemary, sorry, Clark is present.
Thank you. Councillor Cronje. Councillor Du Toit. Councillor Esau.
Teenwoordig, Rosemary, dankie.
Councillor Esau. Councillor E.D. Vergelaand. Councillor R.G. Vergelaand.
R.G. Vagland present.
Councillor Frey.
Good morning,
Councillor
Councillor.
Councillor Gericke.
Morning, present.
Councillor Gom.
Morning present.
Councillor Gregory. Councillor Greer.
Goedemorgen, Roos teenwoordig.
Councillor D. Golddick.
Ek gaan nou sê jy's present, hè.
Councillor Donovan is present, thank you.
Councillor M. Golddick.
Councillors, your microphones are on. Thank you.
Councillor Hani.
Good morning, I'm present.
Councillor Jantjies. Councillor J.
Hey.
Councillors, Councillor J.
Teenwoordig.
Councillor Johnson.
Good morning.
Yes,
I'm
thank you,
present.
thank you.
Councillor Kleinhans.
Kleinhans teenwoordig, goeiemorgen.
Alderman Kritzinger.
Good morning, Ms. President. I'm present.
Councillor Kruger.
Good morning. I'm present.
Councillor Keat.
Morning, present.
Councillor Lamini.
Good morning, I'm present.
Councillor Lento. Councillor Losey.
Councillor Lente is present. He's having a
Good
problem with his
morning,
microphone.
Councillor Losa is present.
Councillor Low.
Good morning, present.
Councillor Mangele. Councillor Masasi.
Good morning, all. I'm present.
Councillor Mbete.
Morning, Maros. Morning, everyone. I'm present.
Councillor E.T. Midaka.
Councillor Mdaka present, thank you.
Councillor F. Midaka.
Happy New Year all, Dikona. Nkosi.
Councillor Mrguli.
Good morning, I'm present.
Councillor Neetling.
Ek is hier, dankie.
Councillor Niaus.
Môre Niaus teenwoordig.
Councillor Ntondini.
Tondeni present, compliment of the year colleagues.
Councillor Katana.
Morning, colleagues, I'm present.
Councillor Kampi.
Morning, everyone. Camp is present.
Councillor Roopse.
Good morning, my Rose. Good morning, everybody. Councillor Roopse present.
Councillor Cyphers.
Good morning.
Councillor Summers.
Good morning, Summers present.
Councillor Smart.
I'm present, Rosemary, thank you.
Councillor Snyman.
I'm present, thank you, Rosemary.
Councillor Standers.
I'm present, Rosemary.
Councillor Toto.
Ja, hartlike goeiemôre, ek is teenwoordig, dankie.
Alderman van die Kerk.
Ek is teenwoordig, goeiemôre.
Alderman von Brandes.
Present, very much.
Councillor R. Foster.
Goeiemôre teenwoordig.
Councillor S. Foster.
Good morning, Rosemary. I am present as well as Councillor Rita, but she is sick and I'm using a laptop. My laptop is giving problems. Thank you.
Councillor Van Draai.
Morning, Rosemary. Present, Rosemary.
Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Rosemary. Before I continue, I'd like to find out from the Chief Whip, do we have any applications for leave?
Yes, Speaker, I do receive 2 apologies, one from Councillor Eso and the other one from Councillor Gregory. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And then from administration side, do we have any applications?
Speaker, yes, thank you. I have one apology from the Director, Civil and Technical Services, but he is represented by his deputy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Acting MM. Then before I continue with the next item, I'd like to just point out that the arrangements for today are that we are going to try and break for a lunch break at 1 o'clock. We have organized a finger lunch, so we will try and get through until 1 o'clock and we have a finger lunch. And then at this point, I'd like to ask for a disclosure of interest in item 4, disclosure of interest by councillors, item 6 of the Code of Conduct for councillors and the disclosure of benefits by municipal staff members, item 5 of the Code of Conduct for municipal staff members. I see 2 hands at this, I see a few hands. Let me just go back into this for 1 second. I'll start at the top. Alderman van Niekerk, you have your hand up, please.
Speaker, I am implicated in item 24.5.
Thank you very much. Next is the Executive Mayor. Your hand is up.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I'm implicated in 24.5.
Thank you very much. The next to speak is Councillor Busak. You have.
Speaker.
Thank you,
I'm going down the
Speaker.
list.
Thank you, Speaker. The PVI want to request a caucus for 50 minutes.
Councillor, I'm going to ask that we just hold off on that. We have a presentation by the AG, and then when we get before we get to the business of the day, I'll allow you the 15 minutes. I'm asking now for a disclosure of interest, please. Councillor, Mr. Godfrey Lowe.
Thank you, Speaker. I want to disclose my interest in item 24.7 and I will recuse myself. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The last one then is Councillor Jay.
Thank you, Speaker. I also want to discuss my interest in 24.5. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillors, there's a microphone on and I'm echoing. Okay, can I continue? Thank you very much. Councillors, at this time and with the public, remember we are on YouTube as well. We'd like to welcome the public to the meeting. I'm going to ask that the AG now do a presentation and I'm going to ask that the councillors please bear with us. It will be a short presentation by the AG and then we'll continue with the business of the day. Are they present?
Hi, thank you, Jay. This is Preston Whaley. I'm the Senior Manager on the audit. I'm just gonna present my screen. There's somebody already presenting. So I would like to take this opportunity to say morning to the Mayor, the MM, and the Honourable Council members and the municipalities officials. And then thank you for this opportunity to have this presentation to the council. You can go on to the next slide, please. So the next slide is just the vision and the mission of the AGSA. I'm just gonna speak about part of the mission. So we exist to strengthen our country's democracy by enabling oversight, accountability, and governance in the public sector to auditing, thereby building public confidence. You can move on to the next slide, please. So in building public confidence, we AGSA in the last 3 or 4 years, we're embarking on the cultures of 2030. So the cultures of 2030 is where we're not focusing on only looking at compliance, financial information, performance information anymore, but we also want to see how the service delivery impact by clean administration, because a lot of people have been asking that you can't eat clean audit, and how does it impact service delivery. In our culture surf, we're now also focusing on how does the municipality impact the citizen on the ground. And then also now, if we see in the next slide, it's about ISO 2012 principles. So a lot of people has been asking, AGSA, are you overstepping your mandate? Can you do this? So if you look at the ISO 12 principles, you can just move on to the previous slide, please. Sorry, slide 4. Yes, thank you. So if you look at the ISO 12 principles, is basically so we auditing in terms of the ISO, the international auditing standards, and also the international audit standards of the Supreme Audit Institution, because we is the AGSA or is a part of the Supreme Audit Institutions. So in terms of the principles, the 12 principles, it basically embody the fact that SSI, we also need to look at the citizen on the ground. So there's 3 pillars coming from the 12 principles that we need to ensure that we live by in terms of our standards, in terms of demonstrating ongoing relevance to citizen, parliament, and other stakeholders, strengthening accountability and transparency and integrity of government and public sector entities, being a model organization through leading by example. So you can move on to the next slide, please. So in the next slide, so we can't do this on our own. So therefore, there's this accountability ecosystem. So in the slide, you will see that everybody is accountable and we all impact the active citizen on the ground, from the officials of the municipality, internal audit council, to the support in intervention, oversight functions, which is parliament, provincial legislature, treasury. So we all have an impact on the citizen on the ground, and we as the AGSA in the middle, through our recommendations, we will provide insights and influence to ensure that the municipality, through its functions, does have an impact on the citizen, or positive impact on the citizen on the ground. We also, through our enforcement, you probably are aware of the material irregularity interventions in terms of what we call MIs. We will also look at consequence management. Is appropriate consequence management being taken place? So if there is overpayment, for example, of funds, is a process in place to ensure that that money is being recovered? Or if there's no process in place to recover the money, we will, through our MI process, will ensure that the money is being recovered from those officials that made those decisions. Then you can move on to the next slide. So through our courses of 2030, we have certain aspirations. So we aspire to have a strong, more direct and consistent impact on improving the lived reality of the citizen on the ground. And we aim to doing this by having sustainable and efficient shifting public sector culture to insight, influence, and enforcement. So what we are in the process of doing is in what we call a continuum. So we're plotting all public entities. We're plotting them on between doing harm and doing good. So a government entity that's doing harm would be like a disclaimed municipality, where there's no service delivery taking place. And there's certain principles in that that we have for entity that's doing good. So this is basically on the right-hand side where you will see that is embodied by performance, accountability, institutional and transparency. We have a short name for it. We call it PATI, and you can maybe call it anti-PATI if you want to. But we in the next slide, I will explain more as to what is the nitty-gritty in terms of what the PATI stands for. So if you can go to the next slide, please. So the desired culture is basically firstly performance. So as a municipality delivery on its legislative mandate, strategic objectives aligned to the people's needs, being financially sustainable, avoiding harm to the public and other proper sector institutions. In terms of accountability, is there basically swift consequence management for transgressions. Transparency is financial information or performance information timely available? Is it relevant? Is it reliable information? In terms of institutional integrity, is the leadership and officials behaving ethically, complying with legislation, and acting in the best interest of the institution, avoiding conflict of interest? So that is basically what the desired culture look like. Then you can move on to the next slide. So in 22-23, we gave the municipality certain insights that we had. So firstly, in terms of planning information, we concluded that municipality is complying with all key requirements within terms of legislation. In terms of service delivery insights, we found that the municipality is not achieving all its key targets. And then we were worried about the material water losses that the municipality have for the past 2 consecutive years. And we found that there's no real plan that the municipality had for the root causes for water losses. Therefore, also in terms of legislation, the municipality didn't fully comply with PPR 2022. Since 2023, we have made recommendation to the municipality in terms of a call to action into what municipality do to maintain its clean audit outcome, basically. So and then one of the important things in this call to action is that what we found is that in the Munich city, the municipality is expanding rapidly. So, but what the municipality is not doing is in terms of they are expanding in venturing into new things, but they're not looking at how does it impact on financial information, how does it impact performance information, and how does it impact on compliance. So that is the risk that we made aware to the municipality. So we didn't just stop there in the 2023 year. So if we go to the next slide, you will see that we basically interacted with the municipality. We had interaction with the municipality throughout the year, because we can't just sit and wait for the municipality to do whatever they want to do. There is some insights and influence that we want to have. So we had various interactions with the municipalities in terms of what they need to do, their commitments, and also to ensure that the municipality is maintaining what they are already doing and also enhancing it. If you go to the next slide, you will see what was the outcome of this interaction that we had with the municipality. So the outcome of the interaction is that the municipality is maintaining its unqualified with no findings opinion, meaning the municipality is now for the 3rd consecutive year is receiving a clean audit outcome, because that's a term that's being used. So I would like to congratulate the officials of the municipalities, the mayor and council for having a continued clean audit outcome trend. It wasn't all roses and stuff, but there was some hiccups during the period, but we found it at each other. So we have new commitments that we did provide to the municipality, like to the CFO and the accounting officer. That is what we're going to follow up on during the year, so that we can ensure the municipality or assist the municipality to our influence and recommendations that the municipality can maintain this trend. So I'm going to move on to the next slide, please. So through our intervention in terms of a culture strategy, so you will see in terms of the accountability ecosystem that council and oversight is an important role. It's because they also impact the citizen on the ground. So as council in oversight doesn't do their function, then it does have an impact. And that's what we found in other municipalities that doesn't do well. It does have an impact on the citizen on the ground, and does have an impact on service delivery. So what we did is, for all municipalities, is that we did a local government value chain where we plotted what is important that council need to do and what each oversight member need to do in terms of legislation. So in this picture or diagram, it basically summarizes as to what is important for the municipality in terms of from a admin perspective in terms of legislation. So the ones and the twos in the green ones in the orange ones I will explain in a later slide. So you can move on to the next slide, please. So what we also did is we looked at what is important in terms of this legislation for local government. So here we put in 5 pillars in what we call the power of 5 in terms of what if this doesn't happen, then a municipality can fail. And it's also important not to just having, so like you the Section 71, Section 72 reports being submitted to council as an example. Do not see that as a tick box exercise only, but there is some assessments that need to be made by council, and also some questions that must be interpreted by council in terms of the assessment of the Section 71 and Section 72 reports. And what we found is that if council is not involved if this administrative stuff is not happening, then the municipality do fail in the admin function. So for example, the mayor will in terms of sections 54 of the MFMA, the mayor has a responsibility to analyze the budget to early identify any financial problems that the municipality have, and then that if the mayor identify financial problems, and then the mayor have a responsibility to report it to council so that they can be an intervention. So and then it's important also that the oversight functions, if the information, the Section 71 and Section 72 reports is also being submitted to Treasury in Parliament, is it only being submitted, or are they actually looking at the information to ensure that they can assist the municipalities if there's something going wrong within the financial information? So this power of 5 is very important. We believe it's very important, and we believe that if this is not happening, then stuff can go wrong in the municipality. So I'm going to speak about the green ones and the orange ones. So the green ones, you will see that what we did is, so the number one green is basically what is the responsibility of the county officer. And you see at the bottom of the slide, you will see that it's linked to legislation. And the similar to the number 2 link is the mayor, and number 3 link is the council. So this is a nice summary of what is the responsibility of each partner in the accountability ecosystem. So if you move on to the next slide, please. So the next slide is basically also, if you look at the orange numbers, is those oversight committees. So it's like internal audit committee, the speaker, and that's we also linked into the legislation, and also a nice summary for the role players to have. Then you can move on to the next slide. So so the next few slides is just a status of the commitments from the 22-23 year. So there were 6 commitments. So one of the commitments is still in progress, which is the VAT application of the library function. Data municipality is still in progress with SARS because they still interaction with SARS. All the other commitments, including the GRAP 32 one, it was implemented by the municipality. So there is this does show that the municipality is adhering to our recommendations. And they are committed to ensuring that our recommendations are implemented, which ensure clean administration. Then you can move on to so the other slides is just showing whether the commitments was implemented or not. And then so that's it. That is our presentation. So I would just like to again congratulate the municipality and the officials for another year of clean administration for the 2023-2024 financial period. So that's it. Chair, I will hand over back to you.
Thank you very much. And on behalf of the council, I'd like to thank you for your time and for your presentation. I'm sure that they will be able to contact you should they have any questions. Anybody that has questions can direct it to you. But thank you very much. And hopefully we can now continue with the rest of the meeting. And you have a fantastic day, sir.
Yes. So I just wanted to ask, can we leave the meeting? Because
I was about to say you may leave the meeting now,
yes,
and then we will continue with the rest of the business of the day.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you for your time. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much, councillors. Thank you for your indulgence. That ends the presentation. Before we continue, councillors, I'd like to bring to your attention, I'd like to acknowledge the fact that I have been asked for a 15-minute caucus by the PBI. However, before we go into the caucus, I'm going to ask that I'm bringing forward item 24.7. If you look at the agenda, 24.7 is the status and of the application for MEC for local government concurrence to extend Mr. Lowe's appointment as acting municipal manager. This needs to proceed before we continue with the meeting, and I'm therefore putting it under my discretion to move this item forward. And the first person to speak on this item is the executive mayor. Could you, Executive Mayor, you may go ahead before we do the confirmation of the minutes, please. You have 3 minutes.
Speaker, I'm warrant my office and if the office, although he's not anymore in the meeting.
Sorry, Executive Mayor. Sorry, Executive Mayor. Your microphone is breaking up a little bit. I cannot hear you. I do acknowledge, though, that what I did here is that the acting MM must recuse himself, and I want to just make sure that he has left the meeting before you continue. But your microphone is breaking up terribly, and you're not legible, or I cannot actually hear what you're saying.
Better now, Speaker?
Yes, now it's better. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Speaker.
No, you've gone again, Mayor.
Must appoint the acting. I'm just moving to another computer, Speaker.
Thank you. Sorry about that, but yeah, your computer's like the weather outside, breaking up.
Speaker, is it better now?
Let's hear. You may continue.
Section 54A 1 and B of the System Act stipulates that the Municipal Council must appoint an acting municipal manager. On 14 October 2024, Council appointed Mr. Godfrey Lowe as acting municipal manager. On 5th December 2024, Council resolved to extend Mr. Lowe's appointment for a period not exceeding 3 months. On 7 January 2025, I was advised to apply to the Minister of COGTA to waive the provisions of Regulation 41 of the Regulations on Appointment and Conditions of Appointment of Senior Managers in terms of Mr. Lowe being over the age of 65. I submitted the waiver application to COGTA on 7 January 2025. The MSC confirmed the support for the waiver application in writing, expressing that the view that the municipality had as requested by Regulation 41(2) of the regulations demonstrated good cause for the waiver. It is recommended that I take a delegation to visit the National Minister of COGTA in order to resolve the spending age waiver application. In terms of item 24.7, recommendations A to C, and therefore tabled to Council, I propose.
Thank you very much, Executive Mayor. The first to speak on this item is Councillor Lento. Councillor Lento, you have 1 minute, please.
Molweni kwakhona. Okokuqala le ithethwa apha kwa-acting. Thina singe-ANC sidikiwe le nto ka-acting for how long? If you count now from 14 October last year and now there's acting, hayi noko enough ngoku because igqiba imali yabarhafu ngoku. And to advertise ii-posts, like ufaka umuntu uactor unemali azifumanayo, but xa kho umuntu opermanent le post izabe right. That's why into ezingalungi uku-actor, because xa ufika kwi-department ethile ufika kuthiwa no uya-acta. But xa sinomuntu opermanent for the post kuzaba lula ke ngoku. No sanosiqhubo lolu hlobo noko ngoku kudala kumanthiwa ku-actor. Bazawuacta bathini abantu okokoko? Why ningathatha abantu abafuna ba-aplya for le misebenzi bazawuacta okokoko abantu? Umasipala otheni uzaba ne-acting ngathi kuseSophia Town kuya-acta okokoko. Asikho kujika amajika apha, makuthathwe abantu abapermanent kodwa siyayisapota ngoku niyenza loo acting yenu. Hayi.
Mr. Paulus. Could we have the translation, please?
As the ANC, we have a problem with this acting, because if you look at it, this post, there's been acting from October or since October. We have a problem because acting has got its own allowances, and when you have a permanent person in the position, then you won't spend so much of these expenses that you spend on an acting person. We have really a problem with it because why don't this municipality appoint candidates who apply for these vacancies? Why is it that we have to live on acting basis? It's now not like now we are in Sophia Town, we're busy with this acting. Otherwise, we do support the recommendation, but we are really tired of this acting.
Thank you very much. The next to speak on the item is Councillor Gericke. You have 45 seconds.
Yeah, I'll make it quick. Morning, Speaker. Morning,
I just want to know, Speaker, through you to the mayor, who is the acting MM today? Because this appointment of Mr. Godfrey, or his 3 months, was expired on the 15th of January already. And therefore, I think that is the reason why this item has been brought forward in order to sort us out. Mr. Godfrey Lowe, very good MM for everybody, not just for the DA. So I recommend that the recommendation that is currently here been accepted, and therefore I propose. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And then Councillor Lowe, you have 1 minute.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, we as good have no problem. We support the recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And the last person to speak on the item is Councillor J.E.
Speaker, can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Thank you, Speaker. Yes, we have already advertised the post in January, and the process will follow the appointment for the permanent Speaker. We just to carry us through until a permanent appointment. Thank you, Speaker. Therefore, I second the proposal made by my colleague. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor J.E. Before we continue for the caucus, we have one item, which is the confirmation of the minutes. I'm going to therefore that item therefore carries. Mr. Lowe can return to the meeting. I'd just like to have the minutes of the confirmation of the minutes of the previous meetings, minutes of ordinary council meeting held on the 5th of December. Could I have that proposed in a second?
Kruger will propose.
Johnson second.
BBI will second.
Okay, thank you very much. That item therefore carries, or it is noted. I'm going to ask at this stage, before we continue, that the PBI has their 15-minute caucus. The time now is 26 minutes past 10. Councillors, I'm going to ask you, please, if you ask for a 15-minute caucus, that you are back at your seats within the 15 minutes. We have a long agenda today, and I'm going to get through this if it's the last thing we do today. So I'm asking you, the time now is 10:26. We are back in 15 minutes, which makes it 10:40. Yeah, 10:40. 10:40. Okay, thank you very much. 15 minutes caucus time now. Right, good afternoon, good morning, councillors. The time now is 10:40, and as stated before the caucus meeting, I did say that we were going to start promptly once again at 10:40. I'm going to move on with the agenda. We've concluded 5.1, and the next order of business is item 6, the questions of which notice has been given. And the question 6.1 is questions received by Councillor R. Lowe, fire incidents during festive season. At this point, I must reiterate, in accordance with the rules of order, Councillor Lowe, you've been given the answers that are in the agenda. You therefore have a chance to speak to the items in the agenda, but there will be no debate. I must say there is no debate on this item. The questions have been answered in the agenda, and you can speak to the answers there. Councillor, you may continue. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, ek wil dankie sê vir die antwoorde wat verskaf is vanaf die administrasie. Gedurende feestyd en veral in die winter is brande wat ook al die oorsaak 'n groot verskynsel. Op bladsy 43 en 44 word van brandoorsake uiteengesit. Hoe dit ook al sê, is dit in meeste gevalle kinders daaronder ly, waarin skoolklere, boeke vernietig word, as ook identiteitsdokumente wat geboortesertifikate insluit. Nou, ons wil voorstel dat ons opleidingsprogramme uitgerol word om brande te voorkom, veral in informele nedersettings, dat deernishelp huishoudings wat probleme ondervind met DB-boards gestel word of probleme het met elektrisiteitsbedrading. Brandvoorkoming is 'n prioriteit is dat uitgawes verhaal word van deernis. Hulp vir ons so inkort is dat antwoord op vraag 5 omskep word in aksieplanne in samewerking met alle direktorate. En dat 'n vorderingsverslag by die volgende raadsvergadering sal dien. Speaker wil graag vra dat behuising en
Okay, die laaste stuk van jou net ek nou nie gehoor nie. Ja, die laaste sin het jy nie deurgekom nie.
en dat vorderingsverslag by die volgende raadsvergadering sal dien. Speaker, ek wil graag vra dat behuising en die elektrisiteitsafdeling met 'n oplossing na vore kom om arm huishoudings te help. Dankie, Speaker.
Can we have a translation, please?
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you very much for the answers that has been provided to us. Because we see on page 43, reasons are given to us as to what happened to the problems, because most of these fires happen during winter, of which most cases is children who suffer, because most of the time their books and their school uniforms, their birth certificates and other things are being burned down with the fires. So we suggest that we need to have training programs that will actually help us to deal with these incidents that actually happen in the communities. And with regard to the cost of the indigent, I believe that there should be a plan of action to other directorates as well. And with housing and electricity, there should be a solution with the help or the assistance of the indigent for the houses. But thank you for the answers that have been provided with this within the pages that are given. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Paulus. Councillors and administration, I'm going to ask you once again, please watch your microphones. Because once a person is on the floor, you would not like to be interrupted yourself, and please just give the same respect to the person on the floor. Thank you very much, Councillor Lowe. I take it that the administration has taken note of your comments. We'll move on to the next item of the day, which is the confirmation of the minutes of previous mayoral committee meetings for information. 7.1 is minutes of the mayoral committee meeting held on the 14th of November 24. Do we have someone to Propose?
Kruger will
President.
propose.
Thank you, Councillor Kruger.
Jay will second.
Councillor Jai. Thank you very much. We move on to item 8, reports of the Mayoral Committee held on the 14th of November 2024. The first item on the agenda is the adoption of the Code of Ethical Leadership in Local Government. And the first person to speak on this item is Councillor Mbeki. You have 3 minutes, please.
Morning, Speaker. Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, the purpose of this report is to submit the Code of Ethical Leadership in Local Government to Council for adoption. The code aims to give effect to the spirit of the South African Constitution and create an environment where the existing legislative and regulatory framework can thrive. The code does not replace the existing legislative and policy provision, but rather enhances them. The code applies to both political and administrative municipal leaders. I therefore propose the recommendation as it is on page 100. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillor. The next to speak on this item is Councillor Honey. You have 1 minute.
Okay, it's Councillor Lento. Noted. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Lento. The last person to speak on the item is Councillor Msase. You have 1 minute, please.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Speaker, as my colleague, Councillor Mbete stated, the item is about Council adopting the codes of ethical leadership in local government, which were given to us by the Department of Cooperative Government, as well as SALGA. The codes have been a work in progress for 5 years, and today we have the opportunity to adopt them as a municipality. The codes include 7 key principles for ethical municipal leadership, and my colleague Councillor Mbete has told us what the aim is of the codes. Speaker, with this, I therefore would like to second the recommendations made by my colleague Councillor Mbete. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The item therefore carries. It is seconded. We'll move on to item 8.2. 8.2.1 is the Stormwater Master Plans for the George Municipal Area. 6.1.1 annexures will be distributed, and we've got that. And the first person to speak on it is Councillor Johnson. You have 3 minutes, please.
Speaker, and good morning. The Stormwater Master Plan before Council is a crucial milestone in our municipality's infrastructure planning for key areas within the George municipality. This plan is not just a document, it's a strategic blueprint that will guide us in protecting our communities, mitigating flood risk, and ensuring sustainable urban development. 2011 and 2018, the municipality undertook significant steps to develop stormwater master plans for various areas. However, gaps remain, particularly in the Thembalethu Zone 3 to 8 portion of the Hells Bay, Kleinkrans, Uniondale, and Haarlem. Recognizing this, the EAS-OWS joint venture was appointed in 2022 to address these gaps, and today I'm pleased to report that the master plan for these areas has been successfully completed. These master plans are more than just technical reports. They provide us with a clear understanding of capital investment needed per financial year to improve our stormwater infrastructure, identification of high-risk areas that requires urgent interventions, a structured approach to new infrastructure development, and the cost implication involved, an upgrade strategy for existing infrastructure to enhance resilience and efficiency. The total estimate cost of implementation stands at 138 million, covered both upgrades to existing infrastructure and the installation of new systems. This is a significant investment, but one that is absolutely necessary to safeguard our residents, properties, and the road network from the growing challenges posed by urbanization and the climate change. I therefore propose that Council adopt the Stormwater Master Plan as recommended on page 143 and 144 under A and B. I so move, and I thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. The next to speak on this item is the ANC. Councillor Toto, you have 2 minutes.
Nkosi Somlomo. Somlomo ngithatha ithuba ndibulise ephungeni. Ndifuna nje ukuthi Somlomo zimbini into esicela uzithetha siye ANC le nto. One ukuthi siyayixhasa le mizamo ingaka yokuphucula impilo zabantu bakuthi. Noba ibingenziwe Thembalethu zone 3 to zone 8. Noba ibisenziwa kweyiphi ingingqi besathi siyayixhasa ngoba ngaphambili kule George siphila kuyo sake sanengxaki yokuwelwa yindlela ephakathi kweConville kunye neRosemary. Now, lo masipala ke unehistory somlomo kwenye into xa ndilokubaliseleni uba angayithathi uxanduva lokucacisela abantu kodwa ndikhwapha. Apho ndiyakhona somlomo ndiye kubeni uba ukuba ngabana besinofumana indlela nje ephucukileyo bangabana kwathina sikwazi uzicacisa izinto ngoba indlela ebhalwe ngayo le item ngamathambo nje somlomo alungileyo ngoba siyawaxhasa kodwa eyona nto siyifunayo sisihlunu sokuba ngabana sikwazi ucacisela abantu bakuthi izinto xa zisenzeka eyona njongo ncakasana. Uze ukhumbule sinikwe uxanduva somlomo masikhokele abantu kodwa sizo-engineers. Now ke bendingayithandi bethi babe ndinoyicaciselwa ndive ngegabula sikhumsha esithi ngelwimi nje lomntu uba olayman. Uyaqonda? Now okwangoku noba uyayifunda le item ikubonisa ii-pictures ezininzi ikuxelele ikunikeza recommendation ngolu hlobo azibeka ngayo xa wam. So bendingathanda nje kuphinde kufakwe inyama so that ndikwazi uyicacisa ngohlobo lula xa ndiyixelela abantu uba kwenziwa ntoni kahle kahle. Enkosi.
Thank you, Mr. Prowlis, please.
Thank you, Speaker. Firstly, let me start by greeting the council. Two things that we'd like to mention as the ANC. We support the effort. We support the efforts that has been put in this item. We do not just support because it's done in zone 3, but even if it was done in other zones as well, we would have supported this item because previously or in the past we had an incident where there was a road collapse between Conville and Rosemore. So we are glad to see that there are efforts that are actually being done in order for us to deter such incident from happening. But what I'd like to mention is next time, or if this item was done in a simple way or in a simple layman's terms, so that we'll be able to go out there and explain to our people. Because if you look at this item, it is quite very difficult for you to understand what is actually being explained or try to be explained in this item. So next time we would like this item to be put in simple terms so that we'll be able to go out there to our people and be able to show and explain to them in simple terms. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Busak. You have 1 minute.
Thank you, Speaker. The PBI take note of the Stormwater Master Plan. Item 11.1, Annexure B of the capital budget, page 177 to 179, the civil engineering stormwater, all disadvantaged areas on that list. Speaker, 138 million rand will be spent on a key areas for a master plan to certain areas to compare to the high risk areas like Cornwall, Pardine, Borges, Blanco, Pakkelzor. These areas had no master plans. Most of this capital budgets go to Roy Drive, Harold's Bay, is a mecca of the George area. Please, the MEC of civil engineering, make sure you spend the money in the disadvantaged areas also, and make sure there is master plans for that areas. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The last person to speak on this item is Councillor Toy. You have 1 minute, please.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I want to second the proposal made by my fellow Councillor Johnson as written page 143 and 144. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The item therefore carries. We'll move on to item 8.2.2, recommendation of the write-off of certain irrecoverable debt, public October 2024. First person to speak on the item is Councillor Kruger. You have 3 minutes.
Yes, good morning. Thanks so much, Speaker, and thank you for the Mayor for the opening of our council meeting. Now, I move your attention to page 145 of the agenda, and I would like to thank Mr. Ronaldo Kutsia and the Finance Department, especially the Credit Control Steering Committee, for the work they do every month. In the budget year of 2023-24, we wrote off about 70.8 million rand. And Speaker, it's very sad that the world we're living in, that people wants to put on Facebook everything that's bad and wrong on 100% how they want it. But if we look on page 146, we'll see that the municipality and the finance department is writing off just shy of 1.5 million rands for the month of October in 2024. But this won't be posted on Facebook anywhere, which is just quite sad to me. Nonetheless, Speaker, I would like to draw your attention then to page 147 for the recommendation of this item, that the report to be noted, and I thus so propose. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. The next person to speak on the item is Councillor Gom. You have 1 minute.
Mandibulele Speaker. Speaker, singu-ANC siyayinotha le item. Kodwa ke siba nesicelo, especially kula indigent policy, section H. Ibingaske Speaker, xa sigqiba ngale item, kwabasebenzi bakamasipala abalapha ezantsi baye-understandiswe le point iku-H yokuba xa i-owner ingatriswa, umuntu ophayo okhwalifayayo ukulandlu ayinikwe i-chance yokuba acime i-indigent. Enkosi.
Mr. Paulus.
Thank you, Speaker. As the ANC, we note the item that is in front of us, but we have a request when it comes to the indigent policy. If you see H, that we want the officials who are actually working with us to be made to understand of the section C, because when the owner is untraceable, that the person who qualifies should be granted the indigent funds. So that is what we actually want to request. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person to speak on the item is Councillor Carolus. You have 30 seconds.
Thank you, Speaker. PBI takes note of these recommendations and are happy with the write-offs. It also takes note of the criteria for qualifications. PBI vergt dat die threshold op deelers aansoeken verhoogd moet word. Armoede, swak economische omstandighede, dompel ons mensen in een groot skuldpoel. Dank u, Speaker.
Thank you very much. Can we have a translation, please?
Thank you, Speaker. That the indigent to be considered because of the economic inflation that we are currently facing. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person to speak on the item is Councillor Gregory. Councillor, there's a microphone VC. Who is Vivian? Councillor Carolus, could you please put your microphone off? Thank you. The next person to speak on the item is Councillor Gregory. You have 30 seconds.
Speaker, Councillor Foster will speak on behalf of Councillor Gregory. She's not well. The PA takes note of this, the write-off of debt. It's about 1.5 million. And we would like to thank the administration, MMC, Kruger, for doing that for us. And for the people of George. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The next person to speak on the item is Councillor Lawsey. You have 1 minute.
Nkosi Somlomo. Somlomo phak la item ithi 8.2.2 i-report ku-145 to 148 yokucinyiswa kwabantu. Ukucinyelwa kwabantu amatyala. Ndifuna ukwenza nje ilizwi lombulelo kulaa komiti yakwa-finance, ndisenza ke ilizwi lombulelo nakumasipari, into ethetha ukuthi iyabonakala le moto iqhutywa ngumasipari apho ibheka ngakhona. Ngamazwi amafutshane ke ndifuna ukuthi ke ayisekondi i-item leyo ka-8.2, ayisekondi the item. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. Can we have a translation, please?
Thank you, Speaker. On the item 8.2.2, 145 up to 148, the recommendation for the writing off of irrecoverable debt, we want to send a word of gratitude to the finance committee. What we want to say that we can see the direction, we can see where this is heading to. With those words, or in short, I want to say I second the recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The item carries. We move on to item 8.
Mali.
We'll move on to item 8.2.3, which is the overtime report for October. First person to speak on the item is Councillor Kruger. You have 3 minutes.
Yes, once again, thank you so much, Speaker. This is a compliance item, but I would like to just mention, or maybe just refresh the council memory, that we did receive a clean audit, and part of a clean audit is the compliance items. On page 149, you'll see that the overtime work is in the credit control, the stores, and especially the billing, salary and IT services department. On page 150 of the overtime report, you'll see that the bulk of it went to the billing and client services. Now, client services also makes up the indigent applications that there's a backlog of. I've heard a few councillors complain about that. And I would like, rather than to complain, I would like to thank the administration for willing to work overtime and trying their best to get through the indigent applications that is so desperately necessary for the poorest of the poor of George. Speaker, I would like to draw your attention to page 151, that the monitoring of overtime to maintain budget control to be continued, and then B, that to be ensured that overtime is justified and necessary. I thus so propose. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. The next person to speak on the item is Councillor Carolus. You may now put your microphone on. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry for that, Speaker. Thank you. PBI is not in favor of these overtime payouts, Mr. Speaker. It's almost R500,000 spent on permanent workers. Die PBI is van mening dat daar meer personeel aangestel moet word in die finansiële departement. Dankie, Speaker.
Mr. Paulus.
The PBI is aware that there are more officials that are being appointed in the finance department.
Not exactly a translation.
Oh,
He actually
sorry.
suggested
Request that there be more officials to be appointed in the finance department.
Thank you, Mr. Paulus. We'll move on. The next person to speak on the item is Councillor Windfire. You have 1 minute.
Speaker, I second the item of my colleague.
Thank you very much. The item therefore carries. We'll move on to item 8.2.4, which is request to grant a delegation to the municipal manager to remove or amend certain restrictions, title deed conditions in favor of council. The first person to speak on this item is Councillor Suffers. You have 1 minute, 3 minutes, sorry.
Thank you. Good morning, Speaker. Speaker, as we know, we get a lot of inquiries from lawyers outside regarding the title deeds. So therefore, the reason for this report is just to get delegation to the municipal manager to remove or amend certain restrictive title deeds conditions in favor of the George municipality. The recommendation is on page 154. Therefore, I propose, Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next to speak on the item is Councillor Greef. You have 30 seconds.
Goeiemôre, Speaker. Speaker, die PBI neem kennis dat dit 'n nasionale projek is. Dit is 'n nasionale behuisingsstandaard vir die laagkoste behuisingprojek. Dit is hoekom ons dit support. Dankie.
Thank you very much, Councillor
Thank you,
Mr.
Speaker.
Paulus.
The PBI takes note that this is a national project. So these are the standards of the national project. So that is why we actually do support this item. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next person to speak on the item is Councillor Kampi. You have 30 seconds.
Nkosi Speaker. And ndizawucela into enye torho ngoba ndazi le nto le item izawupasa.
Ndicela abantu bakuthi bacacisele kakuhle ngotshintsho oluza kwenzeka kwe-study deeds because abantu bakuthi banento xa kwenza utshintsho apha kwiinto zakamasipala umntu umvelokishini ethetha ingakhange ithetheke apha kamasipala kwasava basebesithi ngokuthiwa nawe indlu uhlala ungena-title deed urayithi yakho ulungele kungena kuloo ndlu unama-title deed. Please mayicaciseke ebantwini. Enkosi, Speaker.
Thank you, Speaker.
Councillor.
I will ask for one thing because I know that this item will actually carry, that our people be properly explained to as to the changes in what is going on, because people seem to carry wrong messages around there. For example, saying that you will get a house or you will get a title deed. So such things need to be clarified. So let there be proper explanation to our people so that they can actually understand. Thank you.
Thank you. Who is MG? Ms. Greef, please put your microphone off. Councillor Greef. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Councillor Greef. Thank you. I must just say on a lighter note, Councillor Kampi, I think you're the only councillor in council that can get 30 seconds, 3 minutes out of 30 seconds. You speak so fast. Thank you very much. The next person to speak on the item is Councillor Jay. You have 1 minute.
Speaker, I second the proposal made by Councillor Jean Safas. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Jay. The item therefore carries. We will move on to the next item of today, which is the reports of municipal, the minutes of the Public Accounts Committee for information. Could we have item 9.1, minutes of Municipal Public Accounts Committee held on the 12th of November 24? Could we have that noted, please? Anyone to note it? Is it noted?
Councillor Foster will note.
Thank you. It's noted. We'll move on to item 10. Reports, Municipal Public Accounts Committee. I'm going to ask the chairperson of MPAC to please carry the item in.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, this item relates to the correction of the year-end financial statement adjustment that led to two instances where the final values for these accounts exceeded the approved vote in the budget. These are first bulk electricity purchases of 19.3 million. And the second one is the year-end adjustment needed to finalize the provision of impairment on electricity sales of 10.3 million. During the financial year-end process, multiple processes are done to close off the accounting records for the year and prepare for the compilation of the annual financial statement that must be submitted to the AG for the external audit process. As part of this process, there are various technical requirements stipulated in the GLP standards and entity guidance that requires adjustments to the accounting classification and treatment in preparing the financial statements. According to the technical definition of unauthorized expenditure, these variances must be classified as unauthorized expenditure, even though there are no concern of breaches of internal controls in the nature of these transactions. The AGSA have already reviewed these transactions, are recommended that they be referred to council through impact for rectification. Transactions are for bulk electricity purchases. The unauthorized expenditure is a book entry in the general ledger of the 19.3 million that relates to final payments for bulk purchases for the 23-24 financial year. The value of these payments are not known beforehand, as electricity consumption is based on demand and utilization of the community of George. The budgeted amount was based on expected electricity consumptions and sales data for the previous 5 years, which by nature is influenced by the unpredictability and impact of load shedding. Eskom suspended load shedding around March 2024 after the adjustment budget in February 2024 was already done. So no amendments could be made to the budget to take into account the possible increase in consumption between February and June 2024. provision for impairment of debtors due to electricity sales. The transaction is a 10.3 million provision for bad debt and not a cash transaction, but only a book entry to account for the expected irrecoverable debt inherent to electricity sales for the 23-24 financial year. This provision is done annually based on the data, sales data, collection rates, and expected write-off that might occur in the following next financial year. Adjusting the provision is part of the financial statement preparation process. In conclusion, Speaker, it is recommended that Council to approve that the 2023-24 budget be adjusted in accordance with Section 28(2)G of the MFA and Section 23(6)B of the Municipal Budget and Reporting Regulations to include the unauthorized expenditure as outlined in the report and as audited by the AGSA. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillor. We'll move on to the first person to speak on that is Councillor Gulter. You may continue.
Good morning, all. The unauthorized expenditure relates to final payments for bulk purchases for the 23-24 financial year. The budget amount was based on load shedding projections up until end June 2024. Eskom suspended load shedding after the adjustments budgets in February 2024, to which no amendments could be made to the budget to take into account the possible increase in consumption. The budget regulations provide for an adjustment budget to authorize the expenditure and therefore to bring the 23-24 budget in line with the audited actuals. I'd like to administration to just note in the Section 80 committee, a correction was made on page 167. It reads, the 2023-24 annual financial statements include unauthorized expenditure related to interest costs provision for the landfill site and should read mainly bulk purchases to the value of 19,365,693 rand and debtors impairments of 10,381,992 rand. The recommendation that the approval be granted that the 23-24 budget be adjusted in accordance with Section 28(2)G of the MFMA and Section 23(6)B of the Municipal Budget and Reporting Regulations to include the unauthorized expenditure as outlined in the report. I so propose.
Thank you very much. The next to speak on the item is Councillor Lento. You have 1 minute.
Modern Speaker. Apha kulo masipala wenu into esiyibonayo thina singikhongolose into yokuba ezi departments zenze overspending kakhulu. Zezi departments zingenamsebenzi wabonelele noba uye left noba uye right na. I-department esinofana singakhuzi xa zenze overspending i-department like electro no civil because i-department esebenzayo. Ezinye nje hayi zimbuqe nje evinye akho msebenzi wazo because ba ezo zona bekusuppose ba ezamali zibuyiselwe kubo ne-directors zabo kusuppose zifumane ne-bonus. I-directors yonke directorate kwezo department zabo singafumani ne-bonuses. Sithini ke nge-department ezenza lo msebenzi unjalo ke ngoku? Angeze niphinde nikhale nge-load shedding ngoku si-story sakudala liculo laseWisile kwaZulu ngenxa yami sadlula kuloo nto ngoku. Akho nto ithiwa ngoku hayi siyisebenzise kuba besinengxaki ye-load shedding. Sadlula ngoku kwezo department. Phaa nina imali mazingene kwi-department ezifanelekileyo uba ziyangenisa imali. Enkosi.
We have a
Thank you,
translation, please.
Speaker. It seems like in this municipality, the departments that are actually overspending are the departments that actually don't work as much because the departments that should be granted the overspending are your departments like your elect and your civil because we see their work, but other departments, even their directors are not even supposed to be receiving bonuses because we don't actually see the work that they do. So you cannot even make excuse of load shedding because we have passed that stage. That is actually old news, so you cannot be making an excuse with regards to that. Thank you.
The next to speak on the item is Councillor Gericke. You have 30 seconds. PBI.
Speaker, where is the PBI note? But just one question is that, I'm sorry, I'm on another thing as well. Is that, how can they come now after you say, now there's figures now, we have to change now. It's not right. So we didn't have all the information up in front of us, or before this. So they just need to look at that, please, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillor. The next to speak on the item is Councillor Kampi. You have 15 seconds. No, she's
Speak up for me.
Councillor, she's already spoken. I've given the floor to you. If you don't want it, it's fine. She's already spoken.
No, I want the floor. I'm a good dancer.
No, I know. I can see that. But she's already spoken, Councillor.
Thank you, Speaker.
Speaker, we as the EFF, we note the item. But sifuna uhighlight into yoba imali yaxabanisa ixabanisa neefemeli. So siyacela into enemali, ii-figures ezinemali mazize before ukwenzela basifunde sixabane apha kube manzi phantsi.
Thank you very much, Councillor. That was very short. Thank you. Can we have a translation, please?
Thank you, Speaker. But what we actually want to say that items with figures and money should actually come before so that we can see them, because we know that money creates bad blood. Even in families, there's quarrels regarding money. So such items should actually come so that we can see them in advance. Thank you.
The last person to speak on the item is Councillor Brown. You have 1 minute, please.
Thank you, Speaker. I support the recommendation made by my colleague. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. The item therefore carries. We'll move on to the next item, and I take it's the tabling of the adjustment budget 2024-25 budget. And the first person to speak on that, to table that, would be the Executive Mayor.
Thank you very much, Speaker and fellow councillors. The adjustment budget for 2024-2025, January 2025. This item is an adjustment budget that deals with the rollover of the disaster management recovery grant, where National Treasury initially asked for the 150.5 million to be given back to them. But with the assistance of Provincial Treasury, we managed to secure this rollover. I want to thank the administration and especially the Finance Department in ensuring we did not lose this funding. The result impact on this approved rollover is then detailed into various categories of the budgets in the items such as CRR funding and the affected individual projects. There are other minor grants that are also mentioned, such as the unspent amounts for the Infrastructure Skills Development Grant, 1.2 million, the Neighbourhood Development Partnership Grant of 20,000, the Integrated Urban Development Grant of 8,000, the Integrated National Electrification Program Grant of 698,000, and then the Expanded Public Works Program Integrated Grant of 932,000. I would please like administration to take note of the above and ensure we do not lose any grant funding in future, no matter how small the amount. With that, Speaker, I've tabled the adjustment budget. Speaker, I have concluded. Are you there?
Speaker?
think there's a problem with the speaker's microphone.
Can you hear me now? Hello? Okay, I'm back online. Thank you very much.
Yes, we can.
I apologize for that. Unfortunately, I have a cable that goes to my feet. Thank you, Executive Mayor. The first person to speak on this item is Councillor Kruger. You have 3 minutes, please.
Thank you very much, Speaker, and thank you for the Mayor for tabling the adjustment budget for January 2025. I believe that our Executive Mayor has covered most of it. I would just like to reiterate that at George Municipality, we follow the rules and the regulations, especially when it comes to the Finance Department. We'll always honor the MFMA and also the municipal budget and reporting regulations, especially the regulation 23.3, which our Mayor rightfully said that the rollover grant was secured. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the CFO and also the Finance Department and also our acting Mr. Godfrey Lowe. You'll see in the extremely professional way and the way that he handled this, we were able to secure the funds. 130 million rand is not small change. Speaker, I would like to draw your attention to the recommendation on page 174. And I think it's important that I read through it all. The recommendation A will be that the operating budget for 2024 and 2025 be adjusted to reflect the grant allocations as the Annexure C to the agenda. The B recommendation will be capital budget for 24-25 be adjusted to reflect the grant allocations as per Annexure B. And that C, the service delivery and budget implementation plan, is the BIB as we call it, be amended. And the last recommendation is that the formal budget tables be updated with the adjustments and submitted to national and the provincial government. I thus so propose. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. I hope I'm audible again. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Honey. You have 2 minutes.
Enkosi Speaker. Speaker, kulo nyaka kupheleyo besivumelene ukuthi mayenziwe i-roll over kwi-adjustment budget. But into esikhwankqisayo kungaspendwa kwemali ngumasipala we-DA eGeorge. 130 million rand kubantu abampofu engachithwanga. While abantu bethu besafarisha kwizinto ezifana ne-service delivery nezinye izinto. Besivumene ukuthi ulandi ku-civil makanikwe imali because of sibone ukuthi imali sebesipendile bona is up to 80%. Basanida more money. Kuba nzima ukuyisupporta into engenziwe. Into esithetha ukuthi ezinto zonke ziyaplanwa but implementation ayenziwe. Enkosi Speaker.
Do we have a translation, please?
Thank you, Speaker. Last year we had agreed that rollover to be done, but to our surprise, it was not done. 130 million was unspent, and that is actually a lot of money. But there are departments who actually suffer. Like we agreed that your civil should be given from this fund because they had already spent more than 80%.
Can't use grant funding.
So it is very much difficult to support such items or such things because there is no implementation of what we actually agree on. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Busak. You have 1 minute and 15 seconds.
Hi, thank you, Speaker. The PBA found it very sad today for the George community that the DA governed George Municipality, that 130.5 million to be rolled over into the 24-25 financial year. Grant is not spent. Speaker, we got a lot of job creation can be done on that. There's the EPWPs, all that thing, etc. How did the George Municipality get clean audit if the grant to roll over and unspent for the 24-25 book year? Further, to pay back a 2.5 million to the National Revenue Fund, 3.5 million for the capital budget for the furniture by the old York building is still not completed. It's still in construction, but they actually budget 3.5 million rand for that one. That is unbelievable, Speaker. We cannot can spend our money for the community of George like that. So if you don't use the money, give it for us, for the community of George, please, DA.
Thank you very much, Councillor. We'll move on to the next one. It's Councillor Lowe. You have 1 minute.
Dankie Speaker. Speaker, is good party neem ons kennis van die verslag asook die aanbevelings op bladsy 174. Daar is onduidelikheid oor die 130.5 miljoen rand vir Municipal Disaster Recovery Grant. Die Disaster Recovery Grant moet aangewend word volgens die besigheidsplan wat ingedien is en nie gespandeer word op ander projekte wat nie deel hiervan uitmaak nie. Daar word verwys na ongeveer 35 projekte in kort behels hierdie projekte, bladsy 175 paragraph 2. Op bladsy 172 table B, Cardinal Municipality Allocation praat van 'n bedrag van 100.000 rand wat geallokeer is vir George Safety Plan projects. Ons wil graag duidelikheid kry wat behels die plan en hoe gaan die geld aangewend word. Ons kom agter as goed dat ons kry grants, maar ons spandeer dit nie en dit kom neer op swak beplanning. Dankie Speaker.
Mr. Paulus.
Thank you, Speaker. As the good, we take note of the report that is in front of us today. We take note that according to page 174, about the 130 million that has been unspent, that has been unspent, and there are 35 projects that still needed to be done. When you look at page 172, table B, talks about the allocation of 100,000 of the safety plan. We would like to know, we would like to have clarity of this safety plan, how it's going to be implemented, because it actually hurts to see that there are funds that are being unspent when there's a lot that still needs to be done. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Lowe. You have 1 minute. Sorry, Councillor Lamini. Sorry.
Good afternoon, everyone. We take note of the adjusted budget, and we also take note of the 130 million that's been rolled over. Our concern is actually about the money that's been spent back into treasury. Of the 2.8 rollover of the previous financial year to the treasury, we want to know, could what was spent back, could it not be used for upliftment of the most needy and vulnerable of the people in our community? 1 ± 1 million rand of EPWP money sent back while our youth are roaming in the streets, being unemployed, and this money could have been used to uplift their dignity. And the other thing that we want to know is the electrification of 700,000. We have informal settlements like in Haarlem, where there are no lights, where it's dark, where the crime is high. Couldn't we have used it for to electrify informal settlements like Haarlem? We hope that our people will remember us in 2026 and that they will not give you a mandate to run George again. And I think
there's a microphone on, please. Thank you. Seems like we have problems with microphones there. The last person to speak on this item is Councillor Stander. You have 1 minute, please.
Dank u, Speaker. Speaker, ek weet doen dat daar is ek wou duidelik van verwarring wat party mense verstaan oor projekbestuur. meeste van hierdie projekte is meerjarige projekte, so die geld moet oorrol. Dis nie moontlik om noodwendig dieselfde jaar klaar te maak nie. So die uitdagings is daar, maar ons weer die direktoraat siviele, al die ander siviele is weer regte pad. So, Speaker, I second the proposal made by Councillor Creer. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pallas. Mr. Pallas, we're going to translate the first part, please.
Also, Speaker, I didn't get that. It was too fast for me.
Okay. We'll move on then. Unfortunately, if you can't do the translation, it basically boils down to that the people are not always aware of what the implications of why they are rollover. But I'm going to move on. The next item is, it has been seconded. The 11.2 is Section 72 Mid-Year Budget Performance Assessment and Section 52 Quarterly Report. First person to speak is Councillor Kruger. You have 3 minutes.
Yes, good morning. Thank you, Speaker. Like I've said before, George Municipality really stick to the law and abide by what the regulations say. You'll see
Speaker?
that on page 196.
Sorry, Councillor. The Executive Mayor's hand is up.
Sorry, Speaker, I'm supposed to table this before it be carried in.
My humblest apologies. I didn't realize it didn't say table. I'm going to ask you to table it then, please.
Thank you very much, Speaker, and not a problem at all. This report provides a comprehensive assessment of the municipality's budget and financial performance for the first half of the 2024-25 financial year, alongside recommendations for adjustments. Adjustments to be made to the budget will be done through the mid-year adjustment budget process and will be tabled to Council at the February Ordinary Council meeting. As a municipality, we are aware of the increasing pressure and financial strain experienced by most of our residents. This is evident through our financial reporting, which states we are currently collecting 93% of our revenue. This is below our budgeted percentage debt collection rate. In order to accommodate our residents, we have to adjust our budget accordingly. The report indicates that the following matters are to be adjusted or rectify within the adjustment budget in February. The CRR funded projects need to be reduced by at least 18.9 million in February 2025 adjustment budget. The EFF projects will be assessed during the adjustment budget. Currently, the latest long-term financial plan indicates that the external loans need to be reduced by at least 144 million in the 24-25 financial year, and thereafter significantly reductions will be made to the budgeted loans for the outer years of the MTREF. This will be achieved by reducing the capital expenditure budget to achieve an affordable and a sustainable level of investment. The performance report for the second quarter is attached as an HSC, and delivery targets will be revised in the February 2025 adjustment budget where needed. Recommendations include noting the 72 and 52 reports pertaining to the adjustment budget of February 2025 and revising revenue and expenditure projections for the remainder of the 2024-25 financial year. With that, it's tabled. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Thank you. And once again, I'm sorry I didn't see the tabling, but now, Councillor Kruger, you may continue with your 3 minutes, please.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I'll start from the beginning. And like our Mayor rightfully said, this is part of the process, and we at George Municipality, we follow the rules and regulations. On page 196, you'll see that the MFMA stipulates the accounting officer, which will be our acting MM, Mr. Godfrey Lowe, must by 25 January submit a list of things. And then on the next page, you'll see in the MFMA section 52, the mayor of the municipality must within 30 days of the end of each quarter, and the end of the quarter was obviously the end of last year. I'm no mathematician, but it is correct up until the day. I would also like to thank the Office of the MM and especially our mayor, Alderlady von Brandes, for the way that she's been handling this whole process. We've already been hard at work for the last 2-3 weeks. in conjunction with the finance department, and I would also like to thank the administration there. Speaker, I would not take all of my time. I would like to go to the recommendation on page 201 that the section 72 and section 52 of the report to be noted, that an adjustment budget be prepared for the tabling in council by the end of February, which is well on track, and that the projections for revenue and expenditure be revised for 2024-25 budget. I would also like to recommend that councillors take the time to read the 100-page report that is also part of this item, and I thus so propose. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillor. The next to speak on the item is Councillor Honey. You have 1 minute.
Kwakhona Speaker. Speaker, sasisina sicelo kwi-quarterly report ngale performance kuthethwa ngayo apha ukuthi kwi-quarterly report sasinesicelo sithi sizi-councillors ne-ward committees makuzocaciselwa abantu bethu kakuhle ukuthi ihamba njani indaba le-quarterly report, so that singafiki apha sibe nemibuzo emininzi, sikwazi uba sonke kusempage nokujonga izinto ekuthi sivumelele ngazo ukuthi zenziwe na okanye azenziwanga, but loo nto ingathi ayenzeki. Sicele last year again now nisicela nge-quarterly report esingayiboniyo. Ezinye izinto zine-fine print kunamagama angabonakaliyo phaa, kunzima ke ngokusapota into ongayiboniyo. Enkosi.
Mr. Paulus.
Thank you, Speaker. Again, we had a request last year during the quarterly report that as councillors and ward committee members that come and explain these things to our people so that they can actually understand and actually be able to see if implementation has been done or taken place. But now we see it has not been done, because that was actually last year, because there are things even here that we do not understand and won't be able to explain, but we see that that has not been done yet.
Thank you very much. The next to speak on the item is Councillor Carolus. You have 30 seconds.
Thank you, Speaker. The PBI acknowledged the report. Our goal is to ensure compliance as a municipality, and we expect accountability measures to be implemented if there are any discrepancies. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor. The next to speak on the item is Councillor Neethling. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I refer you to page 208 of that report? And I'm specifically pointing out the operating revenue sources, property rights, for instance. Now, my question is that if I look at the adjustment budget, the original budget adjustment is exactly the same. Now, the planned income should be thus for 6 months, because that is a 6 months report. This, but the figures don't tell it to me. If I take the 480 million and divide that by 12 and multiply by 6 again, the answer I get, there's a difference. And that is my question. How do we work out those little figures? Just for clarification purposes, please. Thank you.
Councillor, your question is noted, and I'm sure that the administration will get back to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next speaker on the item is Councillor Lowe. You have 30 seconds.
Dankie, Speaker. Speaker, bladsy 254 vir konsultante. Konsultante is vergoed 'n bron van kommer. Reeds verlede jaar het ons die aangeleentheid uitgelig dat daar minder gebruik gemaak moet word van konsultante. Dit is 'n groot kommer vir ons. 'n bedrag van ongeveer 74 miljoen rand is begroot hiervoor, terwyl ons as voorbeeld met 'n probleem van begrafplaase wat nie gereeld skoon gehou word nie en daar 'n tekort aan mannekrag is. As Good Party wil ons voorsien dat item na die raad gebring.
Jou tyd, jy het net gevra vir 30 sekondes en ongelukkig jy moet klaarmaak.
Dankie, Speaker.
Geen probleem nie. Could we just have a translation, please?
Thank you, Speaker. It's good. When you look at page 245, we have raised this concern of consultants last year already, because we have enlightened the council and told them about the concern that we have, because we see that it has been budgeted for 47 million with regards to this problem, because we are sitting actually with problems that, for example, the problem in the grave sites, and then the time was cut off, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Mr. Paulus. The last person to speak in the item is Councillor Clark. You have 1 minute.
Speaker,
Councillor.
sorry, did you mention
Yes.
my name? I second
Yes.
the item as proposed by Councillor Kruger. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor. We'll move on. The item is carried. We'll move on to 11.3, the annual report of the audited General Municipal Audit Committee to Council. The first person to speak on the item is Councillor Kruger. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I won't be too long. This is a compliance item, the annual report for the George Municipality Audit Committee. You'll see a 6-page report also attached. I'm not sure if councillors read through it, but I would like to draw your attention to page 313, the concluding statement by the Audit Committee. The committee is pleased that the continuous progress made by George Municipality in improving the overall governance, internal control, and risk management environment. Like I said, I'm not sure who read through the 6-page report, but if you only take that and maybe put that on Facebook for a change, and something positive that the George Municipality is doing, that an external auditor also compliments us, I think that's very important. So without any further ado, Speaker, I would like to take your attention to page 306, to the recommendation that Council notes the Audit Committee's annual report for the 23-24 financial year, and that Council is satisfied with the performance of the Audit Committee for 23-24 financial year. I thus so propose. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor. The next to speak on the item is Councillor Hani. You have 1 minute.
Kwakhona, Speaker. Speaker, siyathemba ukuthi le audit committee yenza umsebenzi ngendlela. Kodwa ke singumbutho wesizwe asixolanga izinto ezininzi. Asi-understand ukuthi i-George Municipality ifumana njani i-clean audit every year, while kunezinto ezininzi ezingahambi right. Nakucala le-performance, kucala le-directors, zininzi izinto ezingenzekiyo. So sinemibuzo esizibuza wona ukuthi at end ziphumela njani, zenzeka njani kulo masipala onje.
Mr. Paulus.
Thank you, Speaker. Again, we hope that the audit committee is doing a thorough job, because we are not satisfied with the results that George Municipality always come out or gets clean audit every year, year in and year out is clean audit, but there is actually a lot that is going on in this municipality. So we don't understand how do they get that right. That raises our eyebrows. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next person to speak on the item is Councillor Kuris. You have 30 seconds.
Thank you, Speaker. The PBI appreciate that the report demonstrates compliance. We are hopeful that as a collective council, we will continue to uphold the standard. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. The next person to speak on the item is Councillor Low. You have 30 seconds.
Speaker, die jaarverslag van die auditkomitee verwys. Goed neem kennis van die jaarverslag aangaande die auditkomitee. Die komitee het gedurende die vorige finansiële mandaat uitgevoer en gefokus op areas soos gelys in die verslag. Die komitee het ook gereeld vergader ten einde van die wetgewing te voldoen. Ons merk ook op dat die komitee 'n suksesvolle interne audit bewusmakingsmaanveld tog geloods het om die bewusmaking van al in die departemente te versterk. Ons glo dat vernuwing en verandering moet plaasvind en hoop dat hierdie bewusmaking ook sal help om dissiplinêre aksies in die toekoms te verminder. Ons merk op dat die verskeie audits in die vorige finansiële jaar voltooi was en dat die komitee die vorige vorm sal monitor. Ons wil hulle net gelukwens met hul uitstaande werk in die vorige jaar. Dankie, Speaker.
We have a translation, please.
Thank you, Speaker. The good take note of the report that is in front of us, and we would like to commend the audit committee as the areas that are listed in front of us. We also take note of their intense work in each and every department, and we hope that their insight will make a difference, and we all wish of luck with such endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next person to speak on the item is Councillor Goltech. D, you have 1 minute.
Thank you, Speaker. As we see, the Audit Committee's report reflects a strong financial oversight and accountability. We acknowledge their efforts and the Auditor General's positive assessment. Therefore, I am happy to second the motion for my Councillor Creer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor. The item therefore carries. We'll move on. Councillors, you'll note that item 11.4 has been withdrawn. I'm going to move over to 11.5, which is the quarterly report of the Audit Committee for the second quarter, which ended 31st of December 24 to Council. And the first person to speak on the item is Councillor Kruger. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you very much, Speaker. More of the same. The Finance Department really never sits, and they're always busy with something, whether it's trying to make sure that we get a clean audit or adjusting the budget for the end of February, setting up the draft budget. And as you'll see in item 11.5, it's the quarterly report, which will be from October up until December. It's for the budget year 24-25. Much like the previous item we've just discussed, I'll just take you to the recommendation on page 330 that Council notes the 24-25 quarterly report of the Audit Committee for the second quarter, which ended in January 31st, 2024. I thus so propose. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. The next person to speak on the item is Councillor Honey. You have 1 minute.
Singumbutho wesizwe siyakuqwalasela umbala wale report. Inkosi.
Mr. Paulus.
As the National Party, we do take note of this report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next person to speak on the item is Councillor Foster. You have 30 seconds.
Hallo Speaker, die verslag soos voorgedoen is nie heeltemal veelzeggend anders as 'n uitsetting en 'n interne audit se prosesse en werksaamhede. Ek sou verwag dat die interne audit verslag sou doen oor die risiko en die bestuur daarvan. Bestuur en die interne beheerprosesse doeltreffend funksioneer. As raadslid is dit vir my baie belangrik dat die raad alle tye gerusstelling het dat die doelwitte van die munisipaliteit soos uiteengesit in die konstitusie van Suid-Afrika bereik word.
Dankie, Raadslid. Jy het net gevra vir 30 sekondes.
Oh?
Jou tyd is op. En hallo vir jou ook, Raadslid. Can we have a translation, please?
Thank you, Speaker. The report in front of us with regards to this, it is not full report, or not all the expected information with regards to internal processes, because there is as a councillor, there are very much important factors that we need to get that are actually not form part of the report that is actually in front of us. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. The last person to speak on the item is Councillor Barnett. You have 1 minute.
Good morning, Speaker and councillors. Allow me this opportunity to thank the Audit Committee for the work that they have put in over the last couple of months and thank them for bringing this report to Council. I would therefore like to second the proposal made by my colleague, Councillor Murray Kruger. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Thank you very much. The item therefore carries. We'll move on to item 11.6. It's a tabling of the draft annual report, and I'm going to hand over to the Executive Mayor to table the report.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Today, I am honoured to present the draft annual report for the 23-24 financial year. This report is a comprehensive reflection on our municipality's performance, achievements and challenges over the past year. It includes two critical annexures, the financial mid-year report and the mid-year performance report, which provide detailed insight into our financial health and operational effectiveness. The financial mid-year report highlights our budgetary performance, showcasing our commitment to fiscal responsibility and transparency. It details our revenue generation, expenditure patterns, and the strategic allocation of resources to ensure the sustainable delivery of services to our community. The mid-year performance report, on the other hand, evaluates our progress against the targets set in our service delivery and budget implementation plan. It underscores our dedication to improving service delivery, enhancing infrastructure, and fostering economic growth within our municipality. One of the key highlights of this year is the clean audit outcome, making our fourth consecutive clean audit. This achievement underscores our commitment to sound financial management and transparency. We also have made significant strides in infrastructure development, which is highlighted within this draft annual report. As we type this draft annual report, I would like to extend my gratitude to all municipal staff, councillors, and stakeholders for their unwavering support and hard work. Your collective efforts have been instrumental in achieving the milestones outlined in this report. Let us continue working together with transparency and accountability to build a better future for our community. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Executive Mayor. The first person to speak on this would be Councillor Barnett. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Thank you very much to our Executive Mayor. She has stolen some of my thunder as far as the tabling of the report is concerned. I just want to highlight that an annual report is there to reflect on the municipality's performance, our achievements, and our challenges over the past financial year. It provides a detailed account of our efforts to enhance service delivery, look after the infrastructure in our community, as well as to foster economic growth. The Mayor already alluded to the highlight that we have received our fourth consecutive clean audit, and that is really something we can be very proud of. Despite financial and operational issues, the 505 million that we received for the public transport network, or GIPTN, allocation also accelerated our project timelines, and this has been done to enhance our public transport infrastructure. My thanks go to all the officials, but specifically I need to touch on our department responsible, and that is Ms. Whitney Prince and her colleagues, for putting together this draft report. And if we look at our recommendations, we will note that the report now goes to our impact committee for interrogation and for further attention. And there is also an attachment that gives you all the dates that we have to keep to as far as legislation is concerned. So we will once more be looking at this report at the end of March, and we will then have had a public participation process via our impact committee. So, Speaker, I therefore propose that we accept recommendation A, B, C, D, E, and F as put to Council on page 338. I therefore recommend that we accept this item and our annual draft report to go out for further public participation so that we can conclude the process for this year. I so propose. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor. The next person to speak on the item is Councillor Honey. You have 1 minute.
Kwakhona, Speaker, kule annual report ilona bendithe phaa ngaphezulu besicela izinto nxa kuziswa ukuthi ziqale kuqala sinikwe i-workshop sikwazi ukungena sigwethu kuzo sizokwazi sonke uba kusempage. Uba umzekelo uthatha i-Hope Street elapha etawuni, uthatha i-Golf Street esePakdina, uthatha i-Tabata Road esethemba lethu, uyawufumanisisa vesazi umsebenzi indlela owenziwe phuwa ngawo izitshalo eziphaa eParkdale naphaa ethemba lethu sasedolophini zezinto ebisithi ke siyacela izinto zize kuthi ngaphambili kuqala sizokwazi ukuziqwalasela izinto ekuthiwa zenziwe ezingenziwanga sikwazi ukuziquestion singazovumelana apha ngezinto esingaziboni kakuhle thina singumbutho wesizwe. Enkosi.
We have a translation, please.
Thank you, Speaker. As I've said before, we do see this annual report that is in front of us, but we have asked that let these items first, or let this be workshopped with us so that we can be able to understand and be able to see if actually the work that is indicated in the report is actually being done or implemented. Because if you take, for example, Hope Street in town, and you take your Gulf Street in Parkdene and your Tabata Street in Thembalethu, you can see the quality of work that is being performed in those streets, because the work done in our locations is not what is done when it comes to town. So let this first come to us so that we can be able to question what is not being done or what reflects as if it is, but that is not. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next person to speak on the item is Councillor Lowe. You have 30 seconds, please. Councillor Lowe, I can't hear you.
Speaker, die munisipaliteit het onderpresteer met werkskeping en nie die beoogde 400 geleenthede per kwartaal bereik soos beplan nie. Dit is hartseer gesien in die lig dat ons 'n hoë werkloosheidssyfer in die land het. Onder affordable quality service was net 55% van die munisipale finansies die kapitaalbegroting effektief en doeltreffend bestuur. Dit strook nie met die effektiewe dienslewering nie. Ons het ook kort gekom op genoegsame elektrisiteit vir basiese behoeftes en voorsien net 45.881 van die beoogde 48.580 huishoudings was gekonnekteer aan ons netwerk. Verder was waterverlies verminder tot amper die beoogde merk van 20% wat baie sal help vorentoe om beperkings te voorsien. As goed wil ons graag sien dat die bogenoemde volgende boekjaar sal verbeter. Dankie, Speaker.
Can we have a translation, please?
Speaker, it was cutting. We could only catch the half what has been said. We started from the 400 opportunities, I think, and 50% of affordable quality that was budgeted for, but it does not met. And we'd like to see the above mentioned, that has been mentioned, that in the following financial year being met. That is what we could get because the network is very bad, Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Paulus. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Johnson, please. You have 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate the administration for their fourth clean audit. I would also like to congratulate the mayor and executive team that's doing an excellent job in oversight in that regard with regard to the different departments mentioned. I therefore would like to second the proposal made by my colleague Abarnath. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The item therefore carries. We'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is motions or proposals deferred from previous meetings. We have none. Item 13, new motions. I've received none. And then at item 14, matters at discretion of the Speaker. I've been asked by the Executive Mayor that she address the Council regarding the delegations to SALGA. Executive Mayor, you may continue.
Thank you very much, Speaker, for this opportunity. As new directors came on board and there were some replacements, the SALGA representatives obviously need to change. Now, firstly, number one, municipality capability and institutional resilience is the municipal official, Edward Ganza, replaced by Bevan Elman. Under governance and intergovernmental relations, municipal official, Davia Donis, replaced by Godfrey Lowe. Electricity and energy and public works, Daniel Greef, replaced by Michael Rode. Municipal Digital Solutions, Ruben Vigland, replaced by Sean Snyman. And then Municipal Official, Bevan Elman, replaced by Louis Fourie. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. We therefore take note, and I ask that the corporate services please distribute that list to the relevant people as soon as possible. We will move on to the next is urgent matters at discretion of the municipal manager, acting MM.
Thank you, Speaker. I have none at this stage. Thank you.
Thank you very much, MM. With that, that brings us to the end of our open session of council. I thank you for your indulgence and thank you to the public for being online. I'm therefore going to ask that we take a 15-minute body break while we go over to the confidential items. We'll resume at 12:15. So please let's have a body break and we'll get the Zoom link closed and we'll see each other again at 12:15. Thank you very much.